welcome to another edition of
XenoChat is the name of this podcast.
Yes.
Okay, we're leaving this. Okay. Yeah, I am one of the hosts, Tyler, along with Justin.
Hey, guys.
Right, we got several guests with us today to discuss Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. First up, we have B.
Did we lose her?
B.
B, come back.
I'm here. I don't know what happened, but I'm here.
Ah, this is cursed. Okay.
Tonight is cursed.
B, and then Marie.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hi. Welcome to Xenogat Garblegat.
Gosh. And we have Kat.
Hello.
Oh gosh. Yeah, Xenoblade X has melted our brains apparently.
It did.
With how great it is.
It definitely did.
Melting.
But yeah, this is our basically roundtable review to kind of discuss what we liked, what we didn't like, and just everything that our thoughts on the Xenoblade X Definitive Edition. So we've had enough time to process it. All of us have beaten Chapter 13, correct?
I made it.
1 second.
I
Okay,
haven't.
yeah, now it is.
What? No, I did.
What?
No,
Nick?
everybody here has finished it.
I have finished it, yes.
Okay. And Kat, you did too?
I did.
Okay, cool. Okay, so what I thought we could discuss briefly is basically our first experience with Xenoblade X, and then kind of compare it to our most recent experience with X. I know that's kind of might be a little broad, and we've talked about Xenoblade X enough, but
Never.
I think
What are
it's
you
fair
talking
to
about?
say because different people had different experience with the original, and the new one is so much smoother on so many angles.
Okay.
It's just in... Man on podcast says we talk too much about Xenoblade X. No.
I can start because I'll keep it short and sweet. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Played it on Wii U. I got stuck. On Switch, I beat the game. Huzzah! There, that's it.
Nice.
Look now.
The word is on Wii.
Okay. Well, I was gonna also ask Marie, because you never beat it on the Wii U, right?
No, I got as far as I think the fortress thing is chapter 10.
This is really
But basically, I got as far as there, but the issue is that the old version was not very good at preparing you for anything.
It was too hard.
It
It was
didn't
really
explain
hard.
shit.
But it's mostly because it was not really preparing you. It was assuming that you would have the level 50 mechs by then, or something powerful enough to beat that thing. And also, it assumes that it was forcing you to always use Lynn and Elma, which also made so your other characters were not really leveled. So yeah, I just got blocked with the fortress because my mechs were still the level 30 mechs, and I was just level 44, and I was struggling.
I think if I have one thing that one criticism that I feel like could have helped the original game immensely, that they still didn't really fix here, but would have just helped to train people to think in that direction a little bit more, I feel like, would have been hey, really push the augments thing, and also don't show them all the augments at once. Make it where you unlock the later ones as you go. Otherwise, there's not going to be any incentive to really go for those instead of saving for the later.
Honestly, Nick, even in the new version, in the old version, I did not even touch augments. I understood nothing of augments and overdrive.
That's why it was
hard. Completely out. Okay, but the thing is, even with the new one, although I started using overdrive earlier and started understanding it earlier because there was better cues, and also the quick art also helps a lot on building the overdrive, because you can stabilize it a lot easier spamming the same colored art, so it helps a lot. But overall, even the augments in the new game, I didn't touch them till chapter 12.
Yeah, and
barely.
You technically can beat it without, but I think it helps you so much to have them.
I just basically selected armor that had already pre-installed augments that worked for me for a while, and
Yeah.
I started going more ham, like, in Chapter 12.
Hey, you don't have to tell me. When I played the original game, even like figuring it out, most of the stuff I did that was like, oh, this wasn't super hard, was because I figured it out after I beat the game.
Yeah, well, that's
how
it.
it kind of is.
Like, I did it kind of a bit before beating it, although I continue. I think I finished my build within Chapter 13, though, but I'm not gonna go in detail, but, like, I finished my build more in Chapter 13, but I started building in Chapter 12, so, yeah.
I will say, starting this game, as someone returning to the game, starting this game already knowing what to do, like, it was so much better in so many ways for me, because I was already building, like, I know I'm going to try these augments and this for this class. Like, it was so much fun to start with that in mind.
I definitely knew, like, what to, do better. Like, basically, train all your classes to get all the skills. Try to get your affinity up as you go as much as possible, because it's a pain otherwise. But also, the new game made it so much easier that, like, affinity was going up very fast. And I was enjoying that, because then I was like, when I want story time, I can have my story time.
True.
So, yeah, I enjoyed a lot of the things that they did and modified in the new version. Like, I think a lot of the issues I had in the original stuff, like, say you need to, like, find an item you found before, but, like, the game is too dumb to tell you where the fuck it is. And you had to, like, pull the wiki every 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hated that. So I was just like, the fact that the new game gives me very clear indication of where, like, the zones where the items are, I'm like, thank God, I don't have to do this again.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes?
Was the follow ball in Xenoblade X original?
Yes.
It was.
Okay. 'Cause I could not remember it.
I think,
It was.
I think
and
it's
it was-
arguably worse in this one, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that later, but yes. Yes,
Yeah.
there's
Because
stuff to
it
say about
breaks
the
a
ball.
lot. I
At
almost
first
never
it
use
looked
it.
like it
Follow
was
ball get
better.
lost.
At first it looked like it was better until it made me run the entirety of Noctilum to go to a specific spot. And I was like,
Yeah.
why?
So,
You pick a spot 10 meters from you and it sends you all the way around Surveillum and back to it. Go straight through a wall.
Sometimes follow ball get lost is now a meme in my house.
Nice.
Sometimes? You mean all the time, right?
Didn't Tatsu say, like, with the introduction of it, sometimes follow ball get lost?
I think he does. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's
And that
funny because
audio
that was even in
lodged
the
it-
base game.
Yeah, that audio lodged itself in my head, and boy howdy did it get lost.
Oh yeah, I remember where my follow ball made me go around all of Noctilum. It was to go to this one kind of secluded beach that has a cavern. But, like, I looked at when I finally got there, I looked at the follow ball and I was like, you could have just made me go across and swim. Why'd you make me go around that entire fucking region?
It's not a
Then when you get
fault.
wet.
I was so salty.
It's not a fault, it's a quirky feature. It's part of the Nintendo charm. Sometimes
Like, I
follow ball
had
get
to
lost.
sneak past, like, so many high levels. It was like Snake trying to hide in this box to pass enemies.
It's kind of like how sometimes in Shadow of the Colossus, aggro just ignores what you tell her to do. It's just like, it's the same thing. Follow ball has a mind of its own,
So, Kat, how was your original experience with Xenoblade X in comparison? Because I know you recreated your original character, Jerkface, correct?
Yes, I did. I have the screenshots that I saved of old Jerkface on my Imager account. Like right
Mhm.
now, I was gonna paste them in the channel. I got very close. And like in the original, there was just like patently, easily a Ramses build. that I could just click on, and it worked perfectly. I was very happy with it. In this version, it wasn't quite as obvious, because like there are two hairstyles, one of which sort of matched the older style, and one that was obviously newer. But like I got a little confused. I had to get the HRT machine to try out the new hairstyle to see if I liked it. I think.
Oh, did it change the face?
Yeah, it changed the face a little bit.
Yeah, there's a few things that changed around in the character creator for like which hairs like stick to what. Like they scraped some hairstyle and they added some new ones, and some others got modified a little bit. So yeah,
I need to get the screenshots of my newer playthrough together, to just like look at them. I did not get the Skell screenshot, unfortunately, but I have a bunch of old ones, and I got close, but I was absolutely insane about the first jerk face build, and I did not have that same kind of insanity this time.
I really wish that there were like a shield in the game that looked like a trash can lid, so you could build like a Bastion warrior with the trash can and go full Ramses theme.
Oh my god, yes.
A trash can.
That'd be great. Yeah. It is.
You would have a little girl popping out, like, saying, garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's one part of the character creator I really wish they had done a little bit more on, it would have been... It was cool that they added some hairstyles and stuff. I really wish they had made it where you could, like, have... like, how much would he transform the hair to be just slightly wider for the wider faces and stuff? Like, make it where any hair can work with any face. I don't know why they didn't.
I wish there was more Bishonen faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted so bad to do, like, a sort of, like, very feminine boy, but there was no such build.
It's definitely going for a more realistic look in some ways with this game that I feel
it's
like...
Well, it's going for, like, male characters that are more, like, jacked and built because soldiers, but I'm like, what if I wanted, like, a twink?
Yeah. Twink's gotta eat, too.
Yeah. All we get is Gwyn? Come on. Pathetic. Not even a real twink.
But yeah, anything else, Kat, about your experience?
Let's see. I really loved the secondary cooldown thing, because in the first iteration of the game, combat was really slow to get ramped up. And they had this high concept idea that in practice was kind of a slog.
So later in the game it gets way faster, but early in the game that fixes it, honestly.
Yes.
Like at the point you can make most builds late in the game where you don't even need that clip. Like that. But early in the game it is a lifesaver for like just fun.
And like one of my things with my first playthrough was that I didn't quite get that I wasn't supposed to rush the main story. And so I didn't do the side quests the first time around because I was like ravenous to get more information about this new sprig of this IP that I'm obsessed with. And I went all in to play as many side quests as I could the second time around, and it was a much better experience. I was much more naturally leveled by the time that I went to go through the main quest stuff. I still got stuck in certain places, but the online ingredients highlighting cut down on so much painful stuff.
Yeah, it did. Like, even me, like, I got kind of broken a bit early because I was just, like, stealing Aiden and bringing Aiden on the walk.
Aiden is the MVP. She broke, like, she figured it out really easily, and whenever I was, like, stuck with combat, I would recruit her and beat it.
she got
I just went
through
like
really fast.
I
and
need
had
to
a really
be
good
I
build
need to be
fast.
level 50 really soon because I was getting close to chapter 10 and like I had chapter 10 trauma. So
Oh.
I was like hey, I'm gonna take Aiden to a walk and like I think Justin told me the spot to level up, like where there was one of the bases. And there was like level 60s there, and Aiden was just like shlunk.
I mean, the spot
They
to
were
level up
just
is
dying like
online.
flies. And my levels were going up so damn fast. I was like, wow.
The online missions really are the spot to level up. I probably would
Yeah.
have been more helpful with mine if I weren't screwing around with every build I had so much.
Yeah, at
Like, I was
first-
really taking it slow.
Yeah, at first I was like committed to being like, oh yeah, I want to be on point and upload the best build that I can before I log off, and then I that fell apart.
I think I'm pretty proud of my build. It could be better, but like the fact that in one of the very late quests, there was like a monster that was level 90, and I did it almost 1,000,000 damage on it. I was like, "Yep, I'm satisfied now."
Oh, okay. Wait, were you?
Just-
Are you talking about then and now, where you have to fight the 2 level 80 sphinxes?
it was a mecha. It
Oh,
was
okay.
like the arena quest. Like
Oh, okay.
there's a quest that's an arena quest, and the last thing you fight is level 90.
Right. Okay, I gotcha.
I almost one shot it.
I thought you meant one of the affinity quests. My bad.
I just built up my thing and I just went Hercules blow and it died.
Yep. That's another thing. Hercules Blow added. A lot of the new arts are just kind of broken, but that clip thing,
They
like
were.
the quick arts clip.
Quick cast.
Yeah,
Yeah, quick cast.
Well, they refer to it as a clip when you upgrade it, and that's why I was thinking of it like that. But quick cast not only does that, but like especially it makes builds that were already going to be like broken even more broken because of just like a secondary cooldown reducer. Who needs that, you know? And like, I mean, you can still use it for that, but like, when you have that, it makes much less incentive for that, and it also breaks like art's TP gain even more than it already was.
Yeah.
Because you can.
Though
Just
I will
hit
say I still
art
suck
after
at
art.
like doing my combos in the right order. Like, you know, like all the build up. Like I was still kind of working on finding the sweet spot, but like when I found it, I would often hit very high. I was just like, yay.
To be fair, like a lot of the combos are like, hey, this is an art that like that multiplies on when you're in a melee combo. So as long as the second art that's a melee art you hit, you're gonna hit the combo. Like they're not like
Yeah.
crazy, so at least it's not like you can accidentally do.
Remembering the order
Yeah.
that's optimal basically.
Let's slow down a little bit here. We're kind of going
Yeah.
all over the place. Justin, how about your
Sorry.
experience? You're
That's,
fine.
that's on me. It was my fault.
Yeah, I actually have a lot to say about this. So I remember when the original game was announced and the hype was unreal. Like, and I'm talking about the
Yeah, it
Wii version.
was.
Hype was unreal. That they released that initial trailer. They kind of baited everybody with that Shulk face at the end.
Yeah.
I
And
remember
the
that was-
Xenogears X.
Yeah.
I remember that was a big thing. But no, like the game was super hyped, and I remember getting it on the Wii U. I pre-ordered it. I even got the strategy guide as well that I barely used because it kind of wasn't great.
Same.
That's what I was asking earlier if anybody had the strategy guide, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I must
think
have missed
so.
a question, sorry.
Although fun little piece of weird lore with that strategy guide, it was used as a prop at Cosplay Pro Wrestling and Too Many Games last year, I think.
Oh.
Was that where they like had to have a book to like hit somebody with or something?
Yeah, it was really fun. I remember I took a picture of it and I posted it on the server. So yeah, that was.
I
that
think
was
I
fun.
yeah I remember
The
seeing it.
mile.
Anyways, but yeah, I remember that game came out. I was so hyped for it. I was at my old job back then, and I remember convincing a coworker to buy it too. This coworker was like super into World of Warcraft. I was like, "Oh, you might like this game," and then he bought it, and then we would talk to each other about it as we were playing the game. And I remember liking the game, but feeling really lost in a lot of ways. I wasn't quite
Yep.
sure how to build stuff, and I would see these videos on YouTube of like people doing this crazy stuff where they're just like one-shotting these bosses. There was that so-called Jedi build that was floating around that everybody was trying to do, and like I would look up these guides and how to get all this stuff, and it would be like, oh well, you can't get this until like post game, and then you got to grind and do all these online missions to do that, and just there's a lot of stuff with the game that just felt really, really weird, and I kind of hit a few walls because I wasn't sure if I was leveling my characters up properly, and I also didn't fully understand what certain arts did. Like, I didn't really
It's so
get
much.
that. Yeah, I didn't really get that. Like, Ghost Walker and Ghost Factory actually like helped you just stealth past enemies.
I was staying on
Because
one class because I
Shadowrunner
liked
is the
it.
stealth pass
So
enemies one.
Yeah, because I remember there was one mission. I forgot which story mission it was, but there was one story mission in particular where the game put you against like a whole bunch of enemies that were way higher than your level. I think like the required level was like level 20, but then all the enemies were like level 40, and you had to find a way around them. And I remember a lot of people were saying like, "Oh yeah, use like the Full Metal Jaguar arts because that can help you kind of get past that." So I remember getting stuck on that for a while, and I also got stuck on the Zufarg fight, and also got stuck on the Vita. I
The
got
Vedic
like
was a point
It
for
was
me too.
crazy for me, and I remember just so many moments in that game just hitting walls and not quite understanding. I didn't understand how overdrive worked like at all back then. Like it would happen, and I just hit random things and hope for the best, and a lot of times it didn't work out for me. So while I did like the vibe of the game, I didn't feel like I truly got it, at least from a gameplay perspective. I enjoyed what I played of it, and I also realized that there was a lot of like character stories that I missed because it was a lot harder to find out where Affinity was and to just keep track of everybody.
yeah, it
So,
was
like-
hard.
I was gonna say
And-
Hope's quest is notorious. One of Hope's earlier Affinity quests is notorious for taking you to Calderos way early.
Yeah.
So that might have been one
yeah.
that you might have thought of
So
there.
there's a lot of quests. So like, and even on this podcast, I know there's been times where people have mentioned characters, like bots, like mentioned characters that I either didn't meet or just like didn't do a quest for, and I'm just like, dang, like that sounds cool. I completely missed this. So when this game came out,
Oh my gosh, I have a story about that. Sorry, go on.
So when this game came out, like, I'm older, I played through more Xenoblade games, I understand how Xenoblade works a lot better, so I'm going into this game already with that Xenoblade brain, because I spent, like, hundreds of hours on Xenoblade 2 and doing builds and fun stuff like that. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. So,
Yeah.
going into Xenoblade X, I kind of knew what I was getting myself into, and I made it a point to actually try and do as many of the Affinity quests as I can, and I basically did all of them, and I made sure to understand the other classes, max them out. I got a lot more efficient with my grinding too, so I was leveling up very fast. Like, I got to a point where I was actually leveling up faster than Aiden at one point. So I was gaining levels like crazy, and I was so OP in this game that it felt like I was almost speed running it because of how just quickly I was tearing through like the main story.
Yeah.
Like,
Saw
I
some
had
of your videos too of like your later builds. It was like, damn.
there was parts of like the main story that I remember giving me a hard time that in this game just didn't even like it was nothing. Like, I was able to just walk past mobs because I was so high leveled and so much stronger than they were. And it got to a point where I got so powerful that all the bosses that gave me trouble in the original one, I took down quickly. Like, the Zufarg fight took it down like 30 seconds. The final boss, like Chapter 13's final boss, the final phase, I literally timed it, okay? I was so powerful, I beat that boss in 27 seconds. Because I got cocky and said, I wonder how fast I could beat this boss. I beat it in 27 seconds on my first shot.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I made it a point to understand overdrive, and now I get it. I get why it works. I get what I'm supposed to do with it. I understand the combos. I understand how to build my character around it. I think like I just really understood how this game worked this time around, and just ended up enjoying it so much more than ever. And it was kind of crazy because I'm playing this game and I'm like, man, this is fun. It's like, I know I was kind of lukewarm on Xenoblade 3 in a lot of ways, and with Future Redeemed, there's things about it that I didn't like. This game kind of brought me, and for a while I kind of felt like, man, maybe Xenoblade's not for me anymore. They're taking it seriously in a direction I'm not really a fan of, but this game kind of brought me back. I was like, oh man, this is what I liked about this game. This is fun, actually. I'm enjoying building my character. I'm enjoying getting super OP. Like, I'm a pretty high level now, and people recruit me all the time. It's
also fun to just. It's also fun, like, you know, like, to be able to share each other's unit, but also, like, do missions together whenever
and it
time
also
allows.
helps that, like, nowadays, I have much more friends who are playing it, because back then, I only had a few friends that were playing the game, and so, like...
Back then, I was, like, the only one playing it in my friend circle, so I was just, like, I had nobody to play online with, so I couldn't even, like, say, you know... oh, I'm gonna borrow your unit to help me, you know, that was not even an option for me, so
and
that made things a lot more harder.
Yeah, and even then, like, when we did try to play online, like, everybody was always confused how online even worked. I mean, I'm pretty sure we even have VODs of us bumbling around in the old online menus being like, how does this work? And nowadays, it's so much easier to get things going online.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and the crazy part is they didn't even change that much, but they changed it just enough that it made a world of difference. So it's crazy how much more approachable Xenoblade X Definitive Edition is right now.
I was being very stubborn. You can, like, level up so fast in online, but a lot of times I was like, nope, I'm gonna do this in the game without the online, mostly.
But also, like, to talk about how, like, it felt I was speedrunning the game. I remember my original playthrough. I think it took me something like 60 hours to get a Skell. Meanwhile, on this one, I was about to get a Skell around the 20-hour mark.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
normal.
Yeah, I easily knocked off 20 hours from my original play.
I couldn't believe how fast I was getting through this game. And
I think I took a bit longer than you guys to get one, was because I was taking my time, you know, exploring on foot, because I knew, like, once I had the mech, like, it'd be, like, you know, not the same, as I was just trying to have fun, just exploring on foot a bit more, and then I went for the mech eventually.
Another thing that became harder, at least for me, was it's really hard for me to share a decent screenshot from the Switch right now, because sharing integration for Twitter is gone, and also Twitter is gone. And so, like, I finally got my screenshots together. I think I only posted like something like
I wonder,
5 or 6.
can you, like, send? That's something I wonder, because, like, I wondered about these screenshot, like, since Twitter is gone, like, can people use, like, the Nintendo app to, like, send pictures to then, like, save them on their phone to then, like, send them to where they want?
I mean,
you can still send them, but it's very over convoluted. I will explain in a moment. Continue.
The way I was able to get the screenshots that I had on Blue Sky there is a share option that you take a picture of the QR code, and it connects you to, like, a small Wi-Fi between...
It's your local Switch's Wi-Fi, is what it does.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And the connection is strange, and if you don't select everything that you want, or you don't save everything you want, you have to repeat the process again for the next sharing session. It's really slow and clunky and convoluted and, like, anti-usability.
You can also only share up to you can also only save on your phone up to 10 screenshots at a time, which is really annoying.
Honestly,
it has to be a phone, because you have to be able to scan a QR code. Well, unless you have, like, a QR code scanner, like, who has that?
I mean, what I do, and I think this is just so much easier, if you have a micro SD card in your Switch, you go plug it in your computer and just straight up take the pictures.
You can do that, too.
Oh.
The clip, too.
You know what else I've done that's really lazy? Especially because, like, a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm going to play this on the side while I'm talking to friends on Discord. So I'll pull up Elgato, and I'll just screen cap it on my computer.
I do the same thing.
Yeah,
I did the
that's
exact same thing.
that's
yeah.
something I did before, like taking videos or screenshot from OBS itself.
Just
Like, I
all
use
print
both those
screen.
methods.
Yep, that's it.
Both those
Yeah.
methods are really good. So if you have access to them, recommend you doing those two. It's just a lot easier, in my opinion.
Yeah, it
But
is.
I do like how they implemented the screenshot feature that gets rid of the UI.
Oh, the LR, yeah, for the
Yeah.
Oh,
UI
yeah,
list. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember on the Wii U, I would just try to like turn off each thing individually to get a nice screenshot, and it would like take me a while.
That
And I'd have to
reminds
turn
me,
it all
Jen.
back on.
Not to
Yeah.
like derail too much, but I was thinking of something earlier whenever we brought up did anybody ever really use the follow ball thing, or like forget about the follow ball later in the game? Which, fair enough, I did too. I didn't. Which in this version, it kind of you don't need it that much. I feel like, but
Speak for yourself.
okay, fine. I mean, I was mostly using the map, is what I'm saying, more than I
Okay.
was the follow ball.
Well, sometimes the thing is, where it can become a bit useful is if you're kind of not too far from your objective and you're unsure if your goal is above or underground.
Oh, I agree. I'm more saying I didn't do it often. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I
That's cool.
use it sometimes just to know the general direction when I wasn't sure at what elevation something was, because like
Yeah.
the maps are good, but they're not very elevation friendly. Well,
No,
there's a
they're
bunch
not.
of
No.
elevation and like caves. And like good luck to find the entrances because they don't make them very easy to
Oh,
spot.
they make them. The cave entrances are so hard to
Yeah.
find sometimes.
These games are like impossible to find. I
Yeah.
have so much. Like, if I'm ever not able to find something in that game, it's because it's in the cave somewhere.
Yeah. There's some stuff in Oblivia, especially that I'm always like, which level is this on again?
So
And if
Valem-
that's where
Noctilum also has quite a few caves that are a bit.
Noctilum does
hidden.
too, but I feel like they're more obvious caves in Noctilum, at least. Noctilum
I just
itself
remember-
is just kind of a maze.
Depends.
Yeah, I just remember in Oblivia that one time follow ball basically told me to like go underground. Like it just
Yeah.
went into the ground. Like I
Yeah.
can't do that. I can't dig.
I
Well,
think I gave up
well-
later questing because there was just too much stuff in caves that the follow
Yeah,
ball.
when it did that, I would just look at the follow ball and be like, okay, I guess I have to go hunt for an entrance somewhere in the
Yeah.
vicinity. But yeah.
Once I pulled up the follow ball and it just said, go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah.
Cool.
I heavily rely on the follow ball whenever I get it because I have a lot of spatial difficulty
Yeah,
in
that's
3D
fair.
games. I'm still reeling from Xenogears being a 3D game.
Yeah.
And here's
Anyway,
the thing, it's like, I think the follow ball is a great idea. I just think the execution was lacking in this one.
oh
And
yeah,
as we had,
absolutely.
as we had alluded to before, in some ways it's actually worse than it was in the original one. Because like a big change they made was that like now it works more like a GPS kind of thing. So
Yeah.
they always show the path, which on paper is fantastic, and when it works, it actually is really great. The problem is that follow ball has a tendency to do things that it really shouldn't be doing. Like it will set sometimes a follow ball will just like veer off into an abyss where it's just like
Especially when it's over water.
I think maybe
Yeah.
they should have given the
I know
follow ball
exactly
collision.
which one.
I really
Like,
think that,
that-
maybe they should have given the follow ball collision. You know, because there's
Yeah.
times I've seen it just
Yeah.
go straight through a wall.
It's
Yeah.
gone through
Yep.
through a wall. I've seen it go through a waterfall before. I think I saw a clip online where it straight up did like a loop, like a circle. It was really weird. Like there's all sorts of like, or there's other times where, you know, you're supposed to go straight, right? But then it'll like go to the right and then zigzag and go do like all this convoluted thing just to get.
Oh yeah,
back
there's a
like, the
spot
straight
where
path
it did that.
spot.
Remember, like there was a spot. I think it was in Oblivia. There was like a small spot that was like little islands with
Mhm.
beaches, but like you could walk on the water because it was not like very like deep, and you could literally walk there like on that path. Straight line, but the follow ball somehow did the zigzag on the side where the
Yeah.
water was deep to come back to like the furthest island, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
And also, the follow ball does not take into account your current abilities or whether you have a skill. So,
Yeah.
True.
sometimes you can get into situations where the follow ball will lead you to a path that you genuinely can't reach on
Just
foot.
can't do, yeah.
Yeah, like the hole in Oblivia.
You mean
Although technically, the funny part. Remember, like at some point, I think you guys were playing something else, and you went like, I think you were on stream, and you went like, "Oh no, HK Skill died because I got the achievement."
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Oh no.
Well, you know what happened? Basically, I took the Asveld, like the kind of lower level one,
Raisveld, and you were trying
I
to make the jump
boosted
without
through the abyss.
Yeah.
I boosted through the abyss and made it with it. But the people following me were in the regular mech, so they just fell down.
fucking
I was
died.
like, wait. But that's why I was confused. I was like, wait, but my mech didn't die? And then I looked again, I was like, oh, the NPC ones died.
Oopsie.
F in the chat.
But thankfully, that does not take insurance because NPCs are stupid. So I was okay. It was just a funny moment, and all this for like me, like getting off the mech and looking inside the cave and being like, "Oh, they're level like way above me." Well, that was a bad idea.
So yeah, like that was a very long lead up, but the reason I brought up the follow ball again in the first place, this episode is going to be minimum 3 hours, by the way. So the reason I brought up the follow ball again is because of another feature that was in the original game that I bet everyone forgot about. It also, by the way, Kat, helps with spatial awareness. There is a feature that is a combination of buttons, I think it's L and up on the D-pad, that shoots a camera into the air so you can get an aerial view.
Oh.
Did anyone ever remember to use that?
I did.
I did use
I
it.
never
actually
used-
a bit.
I did a little bit, but I do not much.
I
did
never
once
used
or twice.
it. I never used it in the previous game, in the previous version. In the newest version,
Use them both.
it told me that I could do that in the first tutorial, and I was like, I can't do that?
Yep.
Then I did it, and then I forgot about it forever.
Yep, exactly. But it is pretty useful in some places,
That
in
is
some
very
niche
useful.
places. I just wanted to bring it up, shout out to it, that kind of thing. I will also say that it's... I don't know. I feel like I just knew the game well enough that I was like, I know where I'm going in most of this game, so there was a lot of stuff that it was like, I don't have to use that anymore. I don't need that anymore. But there was very little in this version compared to the last version that I had to pull up the wiki for, I will say. Which was pretty nice.
Yeah. The one thing I loved about this version is that I did not have to pull the wiki, or barely. Like, very rarely I would pull out the wiki, mostly to look at, like, the choices of, like, some quests to make sure that,
Yeah.
that I was not gonna screw up something, because I don't have enough time to replay this game a billion times.
Most of the time that I pulled up the wiki, I think, was to look up how a stat augment actually works, because it's like, oh, this one is a percentage, and it's like, is this a percentage off total melee attack or a percentage off of regular melee attack? And we found out the hard way sometimes, but that's okay, because I made the augments anyway. I was going to make the augments anyway, so it's whatever. But that's getting real into the weeds for, like, crazy min-maxy bullshit that's fun. But that's also one of the reasons I love this game so much, is because it allows you to make some stupid-ass, broken-ass builds. And this version is even better about that.
And I will say, I know something that was a big sticking point for me when they announced this, the quick cooldown. I was very nervous about that. In the end, I think the game works. It worked better than I was expecting it to. Is it busted? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But
it's a PvE
kind of funny
game.
because it's kind of funny because, like, to Nick's point, Nick made this point earlier that, like, you'll get to a point where you won't even need it, and in my build, I actually forget it's even there because I don't even use it.
I feel like part of the fun.
Use it to spam, like, the same couple ones that, like, builds my combo up, because I'm still, like, my build is not perfect yet, so...
Like, this game is
thing
built
that works-
relatively like an MMO, but the thing that works about it that wouldn't work for, like, very much a PvP-based MMO is that if this were PvP-based at all, people would hate it because it would be broken as fuck in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it'd be like a bad fighting game to people. It'd be like the Fist of the North Star fighting game or something for people at best. But because it is purely PvE, you are allowed to have fun with just doing everything you can, trying out stupid broken builds, and that is a lot of the draw for me, to be honest. Like, that is one of the things that makes it is just how many viable builds you can have. They're broken, and it also managed to make it challenging on top of it.
Yeah, once you understand stuff, honestly, it gets a lot more fun to be able to experience these things. It's just that, the entry level before was so hard, and some people sometimes were talking to you like, oh, but it's easy, and you're just like, ah!
Yeah, that's the thing that's really annoying about talking to people about it, because people who figured it out, they're like, oh, it's so easy, but they've already had that big brain epiphany moment, Like, that's the thing about this game.
So it was not helping new players or people who did not get it yet to get it.
Yeah, because it gets gatekeeping.
If anything, it was making you more, discouraged of trying these things.
Yeah, it absolutely gets gatekeepy with that stuff.
But I feel like the new version is a lot easier to, get to these things because, there's so many extra tools and extra tutorials, extra cues in the UI as well that helps, like the overdrive and the color codes, it helps so much because I can just glance on the side and be like, okay, this one plus this one does this. Okay, this one plus this one does this. Just sometimes when I'm not sure and I don't remember my combos, I can double check.
On the point of the color codes, I will say,
yeah,
I really hope that more Japanese games get with the color blindness options. I'm not saying that Western games are much better about it because they think there's a one-size-fits-all for that.
Yeah, that's an issue, yeah.
But I still think that could be better, but I build to where that doesn't even matter that much. I know, and also I already know kind of by heart a lot of the melee versus a lot of the, I know that the art types enough, but I am a colorblind person and it does affect me in some ways on some of those a little bit. Especially with,
I think for you it's the yellows and the greens, you kind of mix them up a bit. If there's certain hues.
Well, for usually not the case, but in this game, yeah, there's a weird thing with especially yellows and greens, because if it is a
they use a lot of bright ones though, so I think that might be the issue. Because I remember whenever you played Xenosaga, there was this puzzle with the Zohar thingies, where one was bright green, and the other one was bright yellow, and you couldn't tell which one was what color. So
yeah,
I could imagine with the color codes, especially the yellow and greens, it probably is hard.
It fucks with me as hard as Puzzle Fighter does, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
This game isn't as bad. I can definitely tell the colors apart. It's just I tend to forget which one is which, except for now it doesn't matter because I know. Oh, this is a melee art. I already know just based on having
the icon itself.
The icon itself, more so. The blue and the purple ones I can tell apart because they are distinct enough for me. But also, colorblindness is not a one-size-fits-all scenario, so...
Yeah, I know, different people will have different color scheme they see or don't see, so...
So even games with colorblindness, it's there are 3 options, and none of them fit all the keys that I need,
Yeah, I know.
Well, this might be a good place to put in Robin's notes, because he mentioned how the game was much easier to play, and I was even barely able to figure out making my build more powerful. Still struggled with overdrive initially, but I got there, and the added tutorials made things much easier, but I also don't learn well from just reading, so I wish they were a bit more involved. That's Robin.
Yeah, the tutorial could have gotten, little clips to show you how some things worked, but,
nice.
Just the fact that they went through the, the length of having an actual tutorial, database and a whole bunch of tutorials, period, is nice, because if you don't remember something, you can go look.
I gotta say, too, they really overhauled that tutorial space in this version, because there's some stuff that I think in the original game they mentioned, and you couldn't just look up on the fly, and now you can, and it's just oh yeah, how many times do you forget to actually look at what weather effects are doing in the corner of the screen or something that affect your stats, by the way? And it's like, oh, here you can just look it up. Like, oh yeah, why am I gaining fuel? Oh yeah, I forgot. That's rising ether storm or something. And like, or like, what does that symbol mean? Oh, it means my potential's up or down or whatever. And it's like, now you could just look that up easy. And that was never in the original game.
I do love that about the new version is that most of the things you can look it up within the menus, and that is a beautiful thing to me because the least amount of time that I'm passing going on the internet trying to Google some things that I can't find, the more I have a better experience because I'm more immersed into the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, was the training mode in the original one too?
That was new, I believe.
No, it was new. It was like the VR training mode. No, it was not.
I'll be honest, I barely used it.
I really didn't much either.
I found that because I found it by accident. Does the game ever tell you to?
They do at the start. I think Lynn might even mention
it gives you a tutorial at some point, and then you kind of forget about it.
Oh yeah, I think that's why. I think I forgot about it, and then I stumbled upon it later on. I was like, oh dang, there's a tutorial. There's there's a training mode here. So I actually did use that quite a bit because I was like, oh man, I get to test out builds in this.
That's game fun. Likes to throw those one frame, not one frame, but like. You know those panels that it shows a character and it says, you now have this ability, you can do this, and here's how you use this. They did that, and it was like one of those ones where it's like Lynn telling you near the start of the game, you can do this, but you never see them again unless you look it up in your, which in this version you can now look all that stuff up in your training, your options menu and stuff, but it never says it again other than that, so if you read it and you're like, okay, I might check that out later, and you forget about it, it's bound to happen. But yes, it was there. I do recall it being there. I will say, at least.
Yeah. Great.
But okay. We've been talking about gameplay a lot, and B's been really quiet too. Which, sorry if
I'm still here.
Yeah, just want to make sure we weren't cutting you off or anything. But if we won't, I guess we could talk more about story this time. I will say, I do want to bring this...
there was a few more things we didn't go over, I think.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to...
doing Roundtable, unless did we get everybody with that?
The what now?
Did we get everybody with Roundtable?
I mean, I didn't really say much, but...
do you want to go? I don't think you did.
Yeah, but the original experience. So yeah, let's hear Jin's original experience.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't paying attention to that part.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
We had a lot of back and forth to be fair.
I tried to make a guideline, but it's okay that we don't.
It's okay. This is pure chaos. We're screaming about Xenoblade X. That's pretty much the podcast tonight.
But yeah, I didn't contribute to the doc because I knew I was just going to do it either way.
Well, anyway, so I mean, I had a similar experience to you all, where in 2015, I don't think I had I had some Xeno friends online, I know I would go around with Kat's character and Kare's and maybe Val's. I don't know, but a lot of the online I didn't really do because I had crappy internet back then. I've sort of crappy internet now, but it's better internet. Anyway, so that's been kind of the stark difference is the multiplayer has been so much smoother, and actually being able to play with friends was really good because it was actually easy to activate missions instead of having to do squad tasks to unlock missions, which was a whole mess. But one of the bigger things that I because in my original playthrough I played as Cosmos, which was fun nostalgia. But I was always, kind of jealous of people that made OCs. So for this playthrough, I did make an OC character, and
your OC look really nice. You make me think of Randy from Trails.
Oh, really? I still need to get
a little bit.
I made two OCs this time, but one was based on my old one a little bit.
So it's interesting because I think I feel like this playthrough kind of reflects who I am as a person, because the first time I played the game, I basically just made myself, and then I made myself again, and let me tell you, my character is a lot more eccentric now than it was back in 2015. My character looks so boring in the old game. And now I'm like, dang, I got like the crazy
You have the
pompadour.
swag now.
Yeah, purple hair. I got the anime jacket. Like, oh man, I
You
went
look so
nuts
good in that
one.
jacket. You look so good in that jacket.
I wish that
Nice.
jacket
That
in
new
the
jacket was
female
great.
version was just as cool, but it's like another like one-piece suit with a tiny jacket, and I was like, I'm disappointed. I wanted some like tech wear that was like oversized.
But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. In the original version, I put like over 200 hours. I mean, in this version, I think I still put over 100, but this one was just, I think I kind of rushed more, and I
Rushmore.
don't have as many side quests done as I did. But I'm always thinking that, okay, I'll just save them for later when I just have like a day. I just have a feeling to go back to them. But yeah, both experiences really good. But yeah, there's just so much that's improved in this version that it's hard to even think about going back to the Wii U version.
Oh yeah, honestly, I would not go back to the old version so much. I feel like the new version got improved so much in so many ways. And I'm like, thank God, because I feel like this game was ahead of its time, but also had so many like flaws or things that were not very easy to understand or like be accessible more. So like this new version I feel like is much easier to approach for newcomers too. Like it's just less like intimidating.
100%.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, speaking of this new version, like, what did we all think about the updated character models?
Honestly,
They
Very
are so
pretty.
shiny. They are so shiny. Some of the hair just like looks like plastic to me, and like I get it because it's an anime game, but like it's like extra plastic looking to me.
I was gonna say, to be fair, there's a lot of anime games that go for like the cel shaded style, especially now, and this one was going for a little more realistic. I know that sounds weird. I'm just saying, like, shader wise and things like that.
My cosplayer self wants to say that they use a new wing techniques, which is like basically like make your air not ever move again and make this wing indestructible.
What I'm trying to say is this game is not a cel shaded game at all. It is super shiny.
Yeah.
It is not really going for that same kind of thing.
But I do like that they did make
that do look more
the character
realistic
models. I do like that they made the character models a lot more expressive. Like they do seem to have added a lot of like, I don't know, like animation bones or something in the faces, because everything moves so much more. They used to be so stiff, and like they modified a bit of the style. Like it still has the same vibe going on, but they modified a bit the style so that they would be working a bit better with more expressions.
Yes, I agree with that.
The one thing I did like take a while to warm up to was the new hairstyle of Lynn, because I was like, but I like the old one. But I did get warmed up to it.
The thing that it took me a while, but Elma's face kind of took me a bit to getting used to. But
I can see it, but I actually like the faces more in this one because I feel like they. I
like
know
the face
people
better.
Are a little mixed on this, but I do think that the faces have a little more differentiation to them than they did in the old game. For one thing,
they do.
Because like they were all kind of going with like this very, and it's not just the glassy eyed thing. There was like a thing about like all the mouth structures looked very much the same in the original game in a lot of ways. I feel like this actually looks closer to the Kunihiko Tanaka art to me than the original games did, and I just felt like everything was way more expressive in general. So
like I feel like they just added some layers of like the experience they took over from the other games to make them a lot more expressive, and they tried to like mash a bit that with the style of Xenoblade X, so it just works.
My spouse Kevin was watching me play most of it, and he was like, all of the women look like glacial beauties, and all of the guys look like rugged handsome or like the most rough guy you've ever seen. I feel like
that's not that's a good point.
I do think that they overdid it on a few of the facial like things for some people because like they Nagi it bothered me. It took me some getting used to.
Nagi is a bit weird,
They over accentuated like his like age lines a little bit to me.
Yeah, they made him look a lot more jowly, and that's not a deal breaker for me because I'm an old man enjoyer, but looking at the screenshots that I took of him on the old game and the ones now, it is a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
I think I don't have too much trouble with them defining those lines, except for the fact that I feel like it made him look more stiff than it should be.
Yeah.
Because those lines were not really moving, kind of. Like, it was as if someone had put, like, Halloween structure makeup with latex or something.
Felt a little fake, yeah.
And it was not moving.
I was gonna say, I think like Nagi
plays into the meme thing, maybe.
Because I remember seeing a lot of people meme on Nagi and be like, "Oh, he looks like shit now." And I'm gonna be real. I think Nagi looks bad in certain camera angles, and I think like.
I think he looks okay
like,
in certain ones too. Myself.
Yeah, because there's definitely cutscenes later on where like Nagi looks great.
I agree.
And I definitely think that part of it is just like the angle and the lighting for certain shots, and like because there's that one where you're just seeing him front facing, and it's like I think especially if it's the daytime, they really emphasize his like quadruple chin.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
And it's like
and he did grow on me in this game as far as like his look.
It's easy to like make fun of that, but like I think he otherwise looks pretty okay. Like especially in other cutscenes, there's scenes where I'm like, damn, he looks awesome here. But I don't know.
Yeah, in most like big cutscenes, he was fine, but it's just like in the the regular like more static kind of cutscenes of the game. Sometimes like. I don't know, I felt like his face was a bit stiff, but even in some of the big cutscenes, sometimes I felt like his face felt more stiff than before, but because of those lines that don't really move. But, like, I don't dislike the new style.
Yeah, like I said, it just took a little bit of time to grow on me, but I do feel like, to like, basically agree on Kat's point, I feel like they like accentuated the jowl just a little bit too much, but not really a problem. I mean, he's still hot,
Nagi is really nice.
I ship my OC with Nagi now.
Fair enough.
Hell yeah.
I mean, not even fair enough. What? Actually, more
now
than
that
fair.
You said that, I can picture it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My Fujoshi self is looking at them in the corner.
HK, let me correct you just a little bit. I think this is getting a little more Fudanshi territory.
I have to figure out what the non-binary version of Fujoshi is, but it's fine.
Fair enough.
No.
But it's okay. I myself am a Fujoshi, so I'm just gonna stand at the Fujoshi corner and look at it.
Yeah.
Also, one I thought had a really good facelift as well was L. I thought he looked.
Yeah.
I think L.
Oh my god, L looks so fabulous in the new one.
Pretty.
I was like,
he's so pretty now.
I almost felt bad for putting back the heart glasses on him because I was like, oh man, his eyes are so pretty. But then I was like, but the heart glasses.
I took them off for a while, but I put them back on later because I'm like, L's got to wear the heart glasses in my game. It's like, I'm glad that everyone kind of agrees that L in the heart glasses is like the best look.
Yes.
Iconic.
Especially when you start dancing randomly, it's so funny.
The dance he does is so good.
It is.
Well, what do we think of like the new UI in comparison to the old one?
I miss the font. I miss
I
the
Yeah,
do
yeah, the font
somewhat
is a
miss
big
the
thing,
font.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like that I can read stuff without squinting. Like,
Also
you know,
true.
Yeah.
it's much easier to read. Sure, like they could have used a bit more style on it though, like still make it readable, but like keep some of the style of the old UI text. But
One of those
But,
things where it's like
yeah.
it bothered me at first and I got used to it kind of thing. Like a lot of things in this game.
yeah. But overall, I do love that how everything is so much more readable and so much more like easy to like see everything all at once. Like I think this stuff definitely was like a big improvement with that.
And of course, the ability to swap your party at any time was such a game changer.
Oh my god. No
Nope.
more
Yes.
no more googling where is the character in what time to try
During
and
this
find them
one
on my
infinity.
map and
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was such a game changer, especially if you're like out in like Noctilum or something and you need to switch
oh my
somebody
god.
out. It's like you can
Yeah,
just do it right
you
there.
don't have to go back. You just can you just can swap on the fly. It's so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my prayers were answered. Thank you, Monolith Soft. I really
Yes.
appreciate that. And then
I
yeah,
also
go on.
liked. Sorry, I also liked how the characters that you weren't using leveled up when you leveled up, because
Yeah.
that's one of the drawbacks of the first game is I didn't switch characters, so they were all stupid low level. This one I was swapping in and out like nobody's
Yeah.
business.
See, it's that was also something I had issue with in the original game was the fact that like, you know, because the game was pushing so much that, oh, you have to have Lynn and Elma. So most of the time you were not using the other characters or you did not find the other characters and everyone was low. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that the new version was
You
just
switch on the
keeping
fly.
everyone more or less at the same level. And it was so much easier to just be like, oh, well, I want to try out this character and just swap them on the fly and just go.
Yeah, usually in RPGs, I have like a little OCD when it comes to like levels. Like I constantly like, oh, I can't have this character like
Out level this
too
one.
much higher. Yeah, I've leveled up this one too much. Now I have to go to this one, and then now I don't have to have Bose in my party at all. It's great.
Yeah. One thing that I did kind of like force myself through was I wanted to get rid of everybody's affinity, so I played the rest of Bose's storyline and was summarily disappointed. But now I know that I'm disappointed all the way.
He feigns
Yeah.
growth here and there, and then he goes back.
Honestly,
Yeah.
but honestly, like, I did all of them too, but mostly because in the original, like, I could barely do any of the affinity quests very far because, you know, affinity back then was so impossible.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this time I'm gonna level up the affinity. Every time I got a new characters, I was like, okay, you come meet my party, I'm gonna raise your affinity, and then if I have another new character, I'm gonna like swap them out and back, you know? And I would just swap back Elma and Lynn whenever there was something a bit more difficult because they were more built. But like I was
Sometimes
swapping
just swap
people
based on story, too.
constantly.
But yeah, I would sometimes do that too. Is like, oh, I gotta max this character's affinity. Is like, okay, now you're out.
The
of
other
party,
thing that's
fuck
good
that.
about swapping characters is that the one thing that does not level up if you don't have them with you is their rank level or whatever. So, like,
Their
having them around to
class
raise their
rank.
rank level
Yeah.
as you go around, it works well because then if you do want to use this character, you'll have access to all of their skills. Well, if they're just, like, class level 1 or whatever, they're really gonna have not that much, so... But yeah, whenever I was doing my grinding spree, what I would do is that I would take Aiden as the help, and then my other 2 slots were often another like high level, and the last slot was always like one of the characters I needed to raise class for, and I was swapping them out as I went to have them all maxed. So that's something you can do.
That
But
you
yeah,
can.
Yeah, and there's some other like nifty features that they've either fixed or made better, like changing the time whenever you want, because
That
No
was in
more
the,
Oh,
having
yeah.
to
That was such a-
remember where the benches or
yeah,
like
you have to go to
cabins
the
were.
camps. Yeah,
it was such a, which is weird. It was such a downgrade from Xenoblade One. It was like, what? Why would you make this harder? But
Yeah.
but I'm glad they fixed that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and tracking items.
You can still use the benches and the camps if you want, but
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
there.
There.
The remnants are there, and you can use them if you want. But
it's a real life inconvenience. You have to find a bed to sleep in. Shit.
yeah,
no bed for us. We just sleep in the nature.
It doesn't recapture the old game charm. Yeah, no, but even in the old RPGs, you needed a tent, HK. You have to have a tent to save on the world map.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying
I know, I'm
no
missing.
bed for us. We sleep in the
Yeah.
woods
Yeah, I mean,
because
when
because
you're,
we just make the time go.
when you're Mim, you just lay down and you're good.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll sleep in Noctilum. It'll be safe.
Are we not Mims?
Yeah, there's no eye level monkey that's gonna try and grab you.
Eye level monkey? No, more like 20 feet above you, monkey. Or more. Are we not Mims? No, we are Devo.
Alright, items easier to track. We kind of covered that a bit earlier. Whenever I was ranting about items that used to not be easy to know where they were.
And
But now we
you
have little icons and circles telling us where they are.
right, and then you can if you're like crafting, you can.
I do like also, the one thing I don't think I mentioned earlier, whenever you have an area, a general area, what I do like is that when you get closer to the items, you kind of see a little exclamation mark above them, so you know that this is the one you want.
Yeah, this is
I
a rare...
remember the old one when I was running around trying to find, because say I would go to Wiki, it would say, oh, go to this place, I would go to that place, and I would run in circles trying to grab all the items, and it would not load the one I needed, and I had no idea which one it was. So it was
Yeah.
it's nice to have those little exclamation marks to just not run in circles for 3 hours trying to find a singular type of item.
Yup. I do feel like this is a rare case in which Ubisofting it actually helped the game a bit. And that what I mean by that is the map marker stuff all over the place. That actually
I
does
like
help.
map markers, but also for people who don't like them, I believe there was options in the menus to turn them off if they wanted to go the hard way.
I believe they are. Remember, these people also co-developed Breath of the Wild. They know. They know if you don't want to have map markers.
Yeah.
You can just turn that off. It's cool. There's good options. There's some pretty good options in this game.
Yeah.
More than one save slot is the next one.
That is
Yeah, I mean,
let's
I
raise
know-
let's raise a glass to Aiden.
I almost
I know
never
it's
used
not-
it, but yeah.
I know it's not enough slots for her, but it's more than one. So
Well, at least it's more than one. You can't do
Hooray.
backups. Hooray!
That being said, I do wish that there was a main mission select mode after you beat the game.
That would be
So you
nice.
can replay some of the old main missions, because it'd be nice to be able to re-experience some of those.
Yeah, it could
that-
be fun.
Do you know
Aiden
why they
does-
have more slots?
Yes, but
So they're
no.
trying to prevent me from buying another
Also-
Switch. That's all it is.
You
That-
don't. You just
that
create a new
explains
user. Stop. Don't
No,
have to
you
spend-
buy another Switch.
Yeah, okay, sure. $300
No.
versus create a new user. I
No.
don't know. Just saying.
I-
You
I'm
can
joking.
just create a
I'm
new
joking.
user, yes.
We all know about my story about 2. I'm joking.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm just messing around.
I know.
But also, I was gonna say is I don't think Aiden's big thing with the save slot thing is really just if you have a chapter select, it's not as big a deal because I think the reason Aiden uses that many save slots is honestly just due to a lot of games don't have chapter select, and yeah, if you want to revisit just certain parts of the game, that's really nice. I would agree
Yeah.
on that point.
So yeah, I'm skipping a little ahead, but I'm not going to go into it. But
You're fine.
for say chapter 13, after you beat it, it takes you back to the beginning of chapter 13. So it's
Take you to the end of chapter 12?
Yeah, it's
Or-
post chapter
yeah.
12 is where it takes you.
Yeah. It takes you
Okay,
back
so
to
the beginning of chapter 13. Okay.
On
Yeah,
that
Because I
point,
thought I
Sorry,
read
Lord.
like at the I thought I read like because I didn't go back in my game after finishing it. I moved on to another game, but like I thought I
Right.
read that you can go. It will bring
can.
you back to the end of chapter 12, and I was like, that makes little sense, but okay.
I just don't understand why
13
they
makes
say.
more sense.
I should probably wait till later to get into that, but I was just like,
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Okay. I guess somewhat of getting close to talking about new story, but the new characters. Let's talk about those real quick.
Those ones. I didn't like them.
Yeah,
And
like
any of them? You hated all of
I hated all of them.
them? Wow.
What? Even the prince?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
But
that's
you-
right.
y'all be
We got
haters.
no God Jarg in the party originally.
We did.
No. I was
And-
so hyped for that. I was like, oh,
was so good.
we
It's
like-
get to
it's
have
like-
him.
I do have a beef with this though. Let me just air this out real fast. I will let you get back to it, but give please make a few more costumes for Godjarg. I will take
Yeah.
one swimsuit, please. Just
That,
give
that
me.
is also my
swimsuit.
biggest.
I'm
complaint
not
with them,
even.
too.
I'm not even in furry territory, but give me the Godjarg swimsuit. What the fuck?
Like
Yeah.
it's very unfair that you can't undress them.
Exactly.
No, that sucks. I
Anyway.
didn't know that.
No, yeah, it's like a default, like really basic ass armor looking thing if you undress him. I'm like, no, come on. Anyway, sorry, go on, Cat.
Oh, it's okay.
Or go off,
Godjarg.
Cat.
Sorry. I have a thing for the Zuko archetype, the Magus Chrono Trigger archetype, and Godjarg is actually a really decent guy. He's not as evil as Magus. He was just working as a subsidiary for the Ganglion, and it makes perfect sense for him to be in the
Oh.
party. So
He's-
there
he-
was emotional fulfillment for me for that. But but
He's the
since-
Thundercat Xenoblade Zuko, for sure.
Yes. But the thing with that is that I love Xenoblade X. I care a lot about it, but its villains fall very flat.
Yep.
They're pretty
Yeah.
one
They
note in
do.
most cases, to be fair.
Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like it makes up for itself with the hero characters that I actually like, but I want more Godjarg lore.
Yeah. I will say, to be fair, the motive is absolutely there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I mean, maybe someone could argue against the motive not, but like the Ganglion, it like as an enemy unit, like yeah, if you pay attention to the story, you kind of get why they're like doing what they're doing, because like they are absolutely just in a very bad kind of place as far as things go. Although I feel like they could also kind of branch off, do their own thing, and be fine. But it gets into like revenge is a bitch, you know.
Can I put
Yeah.
an unpopular opinion?
Do whatever you want. This
Okay.
is what this podcast is
So
for.
I played the game. I played all the Affinity. I did all the quests. There are no quests in my game. I did everything, story, everything. I
Yeah.
think, this is my opinion, unpopular opinion, that they have too many characters and all of the stories fell flat. They only focused on the main story, and that was still kind of flat.
Okay,
I
so
want more substance.
I could
and if
absolutely
I want more
see them.
substance, I want more substance with the characters.
Okay, I was gonna say I could absolutely see the main story falling a bit flat for some people. I'm gonna argue for the side stories. I think that's
See,
where a lot of the fleshing out.
I said
type
it's an
stuff-
unpopular opinion.
I know it's I know you're saying that. I'm kind of like I feel like the presentation is not great, but I think the
It
stories
depends on
themselves.
which ones, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like in a lot of cases the presentation could be a little bit more like emotional, or just
I
like,
think the
better
introduction
directed.
of those characters are good, but like sometimes the execution of their quest is not always the best.
Yes, that's
Let's
a good
put
way
it
to
this
put
way.
it. That's a good way to put it. Because I
But,
feel
like,
like there's a lot
The more
going on in the
simplified
actual
is what
storytelling.
it is.
Like the
It's a
new
more
ones,
simplified storytelling. Yeah.
couldn't care less about the new ones than I care about, I don't know, Nagi. Like, I couldn't care less.
Okay, yeah.
I did like
Just skip the dialogue.
Liesel,
kidding.
Liesel's quest because I thought it was still like it had a good twist with like her best friend and all that stuff that was being
Leash.
used. I was like,
Yeah, her best.
I was like, yeah, that was something I did not fully expect to go that way. Like at first, I was like, that was interesting. That actually, like, it almost hit home because like there's so many like corrupt people like that shitty boss
that
in
one
real life.
deep
That was
shit,
just like,
yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
like, can he just eat shit? Can I beat his ass?
I love that they
Yeah,
literally
I
give that
that's-
man like a pig face in the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say he has
Yeah.
like the most punchable face I've ever seen in a video game. It's great.
I know, right? But yeah, I did really like her. Like, I thought she was interesting. I love the whole idea of like them developing the mech and having some difficulties with like, higher management and all that stuff. Like, I thought it was interesting for them to approach this way.
Mhm. I think Liesel was probably my favorite of the new characters too.
I feel like they did a really good job with Liesel. I think that I like Neil now, but I think that they could have done a little more with her.
I like
Neil,
I like the idea of her. But
Yeah.
I like the
don't
idea of
think
her.
it
I
was-
like the idea, the
Sweet.
fact. I like the fact that she does have connections to like some outsidely world technology and stuff like that. But like, I feel like they did not have enough time to really like, implement what these were for it to have more impact.
yeah.
So
She's the-
in a sense, I feel of all of those three, she was the most flat of the bunch in terms of like delivery and everything because we do not have enough context to fully go into it.
Well,
She's
Yeah.
interesting, but
I-
yeah, it's just
I like the part of her being an enthusiastic researcher. I don't think that needed to be in her entire personality.
So
exactly.
my issues with Neil is that I feel like chapter 13, what happens in chapter 13 kind of invalidates the point of her in some ways.
In
Yeah.
some ways, I mean, I can
and-
see like the lead up maybe being.
But that being said, that aside, at least, I appreciate Neil because I like having the outside perspective, looking in on the society that's there, and I also like that she is there to give more context to the clue, to that
Mhm.
whole clan, because that was one thing that a lot of people, and I remember quite a few of us complained about in the original release.
Yeah.
We just didn't get anything from like Celica, and Neil kind of served to fill in some of the gaps with that.
Fleshes her
Yeah,
out
I
quite
think
a
she
bit.
did.
yeah.
That was really, and I think that was actually really good, and like that.
Yeah, that
alone,
part
I
of it was good.
think that
Yeah,
alone justifies her. But
Mhm.
yeah, there's parts of chapter 13 that kind of suck because it's like, oh well, then now all that's lost. But
A bit. I mean, I think there's still some importance to it, but yes, I get you.
I'm pretty sure
I-
whatever she explored, she probably took notes of or like some kind of
Yeah.
archived it in some way. So we'll see. Maybe one day.
My thing is that I wanted more of her because the
mhm.
bit that we got was really interesting. It just
Mhm.
went nowhere.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
the thing.
I
That's
think the
that's
big
what I
thing.
mean. It has execution problem where it falls flat because they did not give her enough screen time to fully, go into depth into the things that she knew enough for us to be like, oh wow, because she did pique my interest, but at the same time, the execution was so okay. But we went nowhere with what you just said, So
I think it's much like
Yeah.
most of the added characters in this game, which like they did an exceptional job for what they had with like Liesel and in some ways Al. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but
Yeah.
I think that just by nature of like the amount of time spent versus like what we got, and there's not like she is pretty straightforward. She's not like a quirky character. They could have
Yeah.
gone. They could have gone full Trails Dorothy with her if they'd really wanted to, and it would have worked pretty well.
Lamau.
But
yeah,
they didn't, and it's just like it makes her hard to stand out. Whenever you've got this little
I definitely
time.
I definitely think Liesel and Gajarg from those three were a bit more like, they were a lot better because Liesel, like, although her story is more contained, like, I think it was fairly well executed. Well, and Gajarg is like part of the main story, so you already are introduced to him, and then you get to know his people and stuff, and they thought, oh, that is cool, like you get to know a bit more about what happened to them and like how they were trying to survive and all that stuff. So I was like, yeah, that part is really interesting, and also I did like Gajarg already from before. I wish we could have gotten Bedouin too.
I wish we had gotten Gobweed as well.
Oh, yes,
but-
yes.
Me too. As a fan of ninjas in video games, she's so ninja coded, and I'm like, oh.
She
what a
looks
shame.
so cool.
What a shame.
Ninja
At least you
Control.
can get her costume though. It's kind of fun to
Mhm.
dress up as her
Yeah.
at least.
But
Yeah.
I actually kind of really like the almost slice of life approach that Xenoblade X has to a lot of its storylines. Like, yeah, they can feel a bit disconnected and disjointed, but I don't know. I kind of just like the self-contained nature of them sometimes.
Yeah,
I do too.
I do like the fact that they're honestly one thing I do like about Xenoblade X is that like you can have the other Xenoblade where like it's just full on like linear like story that's like very like expanded and huge, but I do like that this one like a lot of it is a bit more episodic. Like
Yeah.
it's still very linear, but like at the same time a lot of it is episodic where like you do all of the side stories and all that stuff. And I do like that the quests are not too long, so like you can go through a quest and you can start a quest and be like, oh yeah, this should take about, I don't know, an hour, and you'll be done with the quest, and then you can move on with something else. Like I feel like it's so easy to pick up some things and not be afraid of like, am I gonna be stuck here for 5 hours?
Nothing prepared me
And-
for chapter 13-3.
And also, like, it's kind of interesting. Another big difference is that this game feels like this is like the closest thing to a JRPG based on like Babylon 5. And I hadn't watched
Yes.
Babylon 5 when I
real.
first
Now that
played
we've
it.
all
God.
we watched that as a group. and
Yeah,
just
so
did
we
not-
we had
some
watched
friends.
that, and then now, like, looking back on Xenoblade X and then playing it, I'm like, this is basically Babylon 5, the video game,
Fucking
in some
Babylon
ways.
5 as hell. Yeah.
I only saw tiny clips when I joined once or twice, so I can't say. I just say that for me,
So
Xenoblade
Babylon
X is so
5.
Xenosaga coded that I'm just like,
It's that
Yeah.
too.
Damn.
It's that too. Don't get me wrong, but like one of the reasons we actually will say that, and I don't mean to take away like Justice point, or I just want to like add to it, is like Babylon 5's like focus on relationships between like different like people and different alien races and like how
different
they
species and stuff.
yeah, like all the socioeconomic issues around that, and just like how it tackles those, and like has these little vignette style stories that are like tackling very different things all over the place, and how it weaves those together. I think is one of its, for me, that's always been one of its strongest points.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it is in video game form, it's one of the best at tackling those particular things in a way. It's like, yes, all this stuff is going to feel a little scattershot, but that's just kind of the nature of like how this game even sets itself up. You landed on a new world, you've got to reestablish everything. You're trying to do all you can. You're like in a wounded state when you get to Mira. You've got to do all you can to make as many friends as possible, get as many allies as possible. You find people that like have different viewpoints but have higher technology than you, kind of thing. It's and that's the reason I will even defend, like, I don't necessarily like all the characters, but I appreciate that the game had the fucking balls to have them, you know? Like, just to
Yeah,
be
you
like,
get to know a little bit of like a bunch of different characters doing their own thing, kind of thing,
I'm like,
and being
fuck
part of this
Bose,
world
but
that
it's
you're all
interesting he's
together.
there.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, not everyone's going to participate in the main story or be super important. They are ultimately still important in terms of the greater picture. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that works, for me at least. And
Yeah.
even though it can be kind of frustrating, like I know Nick and I have spoken about this, like how one of the most interesting races in that game is like one of the least plot relevant, and that's the Orpheans.
The Orphs,
Like,
the Orphean.
They're so cool, and like their
Yeah, they're
side
pretty
quests
cool.
are really, really interesting, and you could just almost completely miss them.
Oh yeah, you could just ignore them the whole playthrough if you wanted. And it's like the crazy thing about them too is just like it's so cool because they have like this, like they came up with this very like in concept very well thought out like alien form of spirituality to like anything that we have in a lot of ways, and even the way it factors into not only their spirituality as like a people, but just like into every aspect of their lives, how they pass on information, how they reproduce, how everything that they do, and it's just like
when they die, like
how
that,
they, how
that
they
is
do
for the
death,
yeah.
and like it's like that's so cool.
yeah,
I love
it's
that.
just like, and you get good snippets of that, but there's
Give
also
me more.
yeah, exactly. You always want, but like that's the nature of things. The world building in this game, just in general, is so well done. Like at the start, that I'm not even sure, like with the amount of content they put into this game, that you could really tackle it all anyway. And it's almost like, yeah, I hope if they ever make a sequel to this game, they just like go more harder on some of that stuff. But I guess that gets into one of the other things that bothers me a little bit about Chapter 13 too. But that doesn't mean it's like completely lost. It's just more of like, it'd be nice if we could just keep the good thing we have going somewhat. To me, in some cases, it's nebulous. I know.
I will say about the Orpheans, it feels much more like an art project that was approved for production, and I love that in video games. I will say that Xenoblade, like as a series, has more like
leeway.
There's more physical traversal. There's more environmental storytelling. There's less, like, read a book and learn the lore. There's less personal time. Yeah, there's less personal time with the characters just because there are so many, and you can only involve so many in the plot. But I enjoy living on Mira a lot. Like, it was really hard at first, and, like, towards the end of my first playthrough, I was like, okay, I'm exhausted, I have to put this down, but I care about this now. It is 10:35. Are we ready to go, to the next section?
I think we should start going to the next section.
At this point,
we can brush
do we
really
want-
quickly the skills, how they're cool, but yeah.
They're cool.
I do like the one that turns into a plane.
Yeah, Hrasvelg is pretty cool.
The
but after you get Ares, it's still kind of like secondary.
The special Ares that we get in Chapter 13. After clearing Chapter 13, I really enjoy it too.
I want to say
I've not really played with it.
I want to say I love that the Prog Ares fucking runs instead of like drives or anything.
Yes,
it's like different from other. That fucking sprint that it does is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Okay, I may not have tried that.
You don't even have to try it. If you
really should.
Just put Al in your party and just watch whenever they're like doing their thing, and it's just like running. It's so funny. He just runs it, and he's faster than everything else on the field. Is the funniest part too. Like even just running, he just like.
I mean, at this point, I could just steal his mech, but
you can now, yeah. Oh, spoilers. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we're about to get into heavy spoilers.
Okay, yeah. Just
heavy spoodles.
Okay, listeners, if you haven't beaten Chapter 13.
Get out, because we're about to go deep.
Get out now.
For the click.
We already said 1 or 2 spoilers, sorry.
Also, if you're watching the video version of this, I might be recording in my particular take if we use it. If not, you can edit this out. But I might be recording gameplay footage while we talk about this. Just, Anyway, continue.
Yeah, Chapter 13. Oh boy, Chapter 13. There's a lot to say about Chapter 13.
What's poppin'? That's what I'm saying.
How do you feel about pepperoni on pizza?
I don't like it.
I
do
like
if it's
pepperoni.
crispy enough.
I don't hate it, but I don't think it's like. I don't think
I
you have
adore
to have it.
pepperoni.
I don't hate it.
I
But I don't
just
think
I
you
just
have
wish
to
my
have it.
tummy could still take cheese. Badge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Travis took-
pepperoni, but I don't always love it on pizza because it makes the
Same.
pizza very greasy.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, I
just-
love
Anyway,
it.
I prefer
anyway,
ham.
Okay.
anyway, what do we think about Al?
Okay.
was a bit-
I think.
Oh, this is gonna be
he's-
good.
Oh, go on. Go on.
Okay. He's.
Go for it.
I like him, but I don't. I mean, like the other characters, yeah, okay, I get his story, fine. I like his attitude on life. I think that's pretty good.
He had a lot to
Clever,
prove.
especially with Lao at the end.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted more. Again, I find like unpopular opinion. I want more.
I don't think that's unpopular. I don't think that
We
one is
all-
unpopular.
We all
I
agree
wanted
on that
more with Al because he could have had a whole lot more to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was disappointed by
Yeah, for
Al,
sure.
to be honest. I don't know. I feel like there could have been a lot more that they could have delved in with him, especially with him being stuck in that other dimension for
This
like.
is
was it
where
2?
I refer chapter 13 as a quantum realm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've got like mixed feelings on this because
Mhm.
I am also disappointed with Al in many ways. That said, I didn't want Al to jump in here and explain all this shit to me. I'm glad that he doesn't understand really either. Because, like, I
Mhm.
feel like that kind of ruins some of the themes of the game, if he does, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
And also, in
there's
a way,
such thing as going too far, like, and giving you too much to go on, especially in, like, when you're tackling questions about, like, life and reality and things like that are, like, I don't want you to answer them. Like, that's part of the fun of it for me, is, like, make a little bit of it, keep a little bit of it, that mystery, keep it a little bit of it, like, unknown, where you have a space to, like, ponder on it yourself, rather than just, like, the character come out and, like, oh, yep, here's what actually it is. And, like, I don't need that. But
Yeah.
that said, I think they could have done better with what they had there, rather than just make him into, like, I feel like the few times they tackled it, it was like, hey, look at this reference, you know, a little bit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like I expected worse, to be honest, at this point. Not to be negative, I did expect a little bit worse at this point on some of it, but I still was like, we didn't need that, you know?
Well, you hear about Al as this legendary kind of Gel pilot, and because he doesn't have a mim, and you hear like he's the only one with a physical body. I'm like, okay, cool. And why doesn't he have a mim? Why is he this legendary person? Like, I needed a little more substance.
They gave
They kinda gave
Shaggy.
enough about that.
They gave
basically, he's like the new type Gundam guy that got chosen by the mech and is the only pilot of the mech because the mech likes
but
him.
I need
Yeah.
more substance.
Well,
Yeah.
Were you saying,
Here-
Kat?
Here's my thing. I don't know if everybody's seen Scooby Doo.
I love Scooby Doo.
A long time
Okay.
ago.
Okay.
I don't think I
So-
remember anything.
I've watched a
They-
shitload. I can't wait to hear this explanation. by the
Okay.
way.
Okay, my theory is that Al is Shaggy, but they made him the main character instead of Velma. I have
Fred was more main character coded.
Oh.
I guess. Yeah. But anyway, I have complicated feelings about Al because one, his attitude is very similar to my husband's. So
Oh,
me and Kevin go, oh yes, it's Kevin Xenoblade. Like, Kevin owns a flight jacket.
no. Thank
in a
God it
different
was
color.
the other one.
Yeah, and, like, attitude-wise, I love Al. I want him to be my friend. I want him to be Cherenkov's friend. And, with the rift just basically being, the Beach of Nothingness all but confirmed, that can happen. And that is exciting, but the way it was confirmed... Oh yeah, it's just there.
Yeah. Wow. I can't wait until the next
it
game
was
where
like-
they meet Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes, please. Death Stranding, the beach
Yeah.
that makes you old.
now we're getting into like the basics. Oh my gosh! Now we're even crossing over with film in that way. We're gonna get like what a twist.
Oh, you're not done, Kat. Go ahead.
Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
but I kind of like with the introduction of Al, Elma's importance diminishes a lot into the point where she is just basically Princess Allura from Voltron. And I don't know, it sort of like the way they wrote Al in diminishes the importance of a whole lot of other characters very quickly. And yeah.
I agree 100%, because once he was added, Elma, I don't know, their dynamic was very odd.
It was
I
strange.
mean, because it's
I
like,
think
the
the
princess-
issue with that is that we don't have enough context about their background story, so we don't fully know like we can have a clue, but we don't fully know what fully like brushed it off as like them having the cold shoulder like that. But
I'm
to
much
say
more
that,
confused
that
now.
Elma is like less important though, I feel like it's more that he was trying to take a bit of a load by being back, because like he knows that like she's been working really hard up to there, so I don't think it was too unnatural considering like, well, we don't know the full story, but we know that there was a bit of something that happened before that made so they had the cold shoulder, but they were still very close with each other,
Yeah.
But in general, I don't think Al's like coming was that like unnatural, because technically, if he's been stuck in the rift, like he couldn't have really come that much sooner or whatever. So I feel like the way they introduce the story and stuff, and the way they explain stuff, I feel like it still makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And the fact, like Radio says, like the fact that they don't necessarily say everything because he himself as a character does not understand these things, I think makes it more interesting too.
Yeah.
I also felt that... Oh, go on.
Sorry, I have one final thing to say. R.E. Al, and it is Nagi talks about him like, if only he were here. And somebody as responsible and respectable as Nagi, I expected Al to be about that same respectability, and he's just not. And it's funny, but it's like,
I think the thing with Al is that deep down, I feel like he's more serious than he lets on. But it's just that he's always kind of trying to like get the mood a bit more like if people get stiff, like he tries to track on like his uncle jokes or whatever to make them like less stiff kind of thing, and he's looking after everybody. So I feel in that way like he's more serious than he lets on, and that's something I can appreciate because there's more layers than just his jokes. It's just like it's not necessarily easy to pick on, but like sometimes it'll start to get a bit more profound, and you're just like, okay, I guess you're more serious than I thought, and like it got interesting.
I kind of like that they went a little more lighthearted with him, but I also feel like they kind of maybe overdid it just a little bit. But anyway, go on.
I have a couple things to say about this. So, like, for me, Al, in some ways, a lot of my issues with Al just boil down to the fact that the chapter 13 is just so short. It feels like they had all these ideas and they had to cram them into like a 5-hour campaign. But I feel like Al is almost like them trying to recapture what they did with Adam in Xenoblade 2. But unlike in Xenoblade 2, where they kind of gradually built up to Adam throughout the entirety of the base game, Al doesn't really get a whole lot of that, if anything.
Doesn't.
Like, we don't even have his name.
Yeah, so like when they introduce him in chapter 13 and he's just referred to as a hero and everyone acts like he's so important, and then the characters will be like, oh, you don't know who Adam, you don't know who Al is? And it's just like, why would I know him?
I don't know him.
It's funny
because
I knew him as a hero, but at the same time, I think it still makes sense because of the fact that your character has amnesia, so of course they would not necessarily know him. So
Well,
I
that's
feel like
true,
on
but,
that
like,
sense, it's not that unnatural. But yeah,
that's
I get
fine, but
what
at
you
the
mean
same time,
too.
it's like the game wants you to give a shit about him, but unfortunately, not a whole lot of time is actually being devoted to him, and they're trying to treat him like he's a big deal. Granted, when you have him, he's a lot of fun, and I did end up liking him in the end, but it sucks that so much of this story, it felt like this story really got rushed and crammed into, like, this should have been like maybe a 20-hour campaign instead of like a 5-hour one. I got through this thing very quickly. So
Yeah, I feel like it should have been definitely longer, but it was already much longer than all of the other main story quests. So because it was like split in
it was
three
longer than the main
quarters.
story quest. Well, I guess maybe it shouldn't have just been one main story quest. I'm counting chapter 2 as
It's
one chapter.
I definitely
But-
felt like it should have been like chapter 13, 14, 15. I felt like
Yeah.
it should have been
Agree.
that.
Honestly,
And
each
I-
individual part of it in itself were already longer than like a single
Mhm.
chapter in the game.
and
Mhm.
so many of
Yeah.
like the revelations in chapter 13 I think would have landed better in general if they were given more time to like develop, and also you are given more time to actually process it. Because it just felt like they were dropping truth bomb after truth bomb after truth bomb after truth bomb.
Well, I took breaks between each one, so each part, so I had plenty of time to digest and like lose my mind.
I feel like
So-
my
something
biggest thing
fun-
is like nothing had. There was a lot of truth bombs being dropped, but there was nothing that had like the same kind of gravitational like weight to it as you got in like other like games with their drops. It did feel like that very rushed sense, and I would say even like there's a lot of game we're very used to in this franchise having things be rushed, and I'm willing to give a lot of benefits of the doubt. I thought overall, I'm just gonna say, I thought this all was quite fine. I thought there was a lot of great stuff here and there.
I think it's still
But
what I do like about
I think
it
the
is that
presentation
it
was a little bit mixed in a lot of ways.
it was
And I think-
mixed, but at the same time, it still kind of holds together pretty okay. Like it's not like all
Yeah.
over the place chaos. You
I
know?
like-
It's like it hits, but nothing that was revealed in this was like, oh, like I didn't have any epiphany moments like I did with the original version of the game or anything like that, or in other Xeno games even.
I liked the
Mhm.
landscape of it, and I did like the music of it. But there was one part when you had to go find all your people that
Mhm.
drove me up the wall and through the roof because I couldn't find them all.
Oh, I thought that was fun, but that's me.
I hated it.
No, I hated
there
it
was
too.
a part
That was-
where you
I
are
got
unlocking
that
one
very
of the
quickly.
keys and you have to find, I think it's 3 or 4 of the flying robot things, and they're
Yeah.
like
3.
hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
oh my
the issue is
God.
that
the
some of
Galders.
these, yeah, but the thing is, those robots did not have any markers, and there were some like I know that there's
did
one of
not.
them that I ran in circle for like nearly like 40
I
minutes trying to
ended up
find it.
Oh, they were
Googling it 'cause
regularly
I was pissed
colored.
off.
They weren't.
And then-
They didn't have like the gold. Like,
Yeah, but one of
weird
them
thing
hit
over
very
them.
well. Like I
Yeah,
just
I
could not
Googled
find
that
it
one.
for the life of me. And but
Actually,
also like
Googled
some
none
of the
of them.
characters were also
Surprising.
hidden in caves, and like it was not easy to find where
And-
the entrance
no.
of said some of those caves were. So I
Oh, no.
understand the frustration.
I actually,
Or-
I
That's
did
a base
like
game.
it still. I still liked it, but like there was one island on that had like a huge cavern like segment with like multiple levels and stuff inside, and I was like, oh my god, please. Like the one where you drop in the hole, I think that was the worst.
Oh, yeah,
So
there was one that was
I-
a little confusing on those.
I
holes.
honestly, this might be an unpopular opinion. I actually wish there was more moments like that in there. I didn't like that era because I felt it was too small and just way too quick to navigate, and I just got through
Yeah.
it very quickly.
It was very
Yeah.
small, yes.
Yeah.
and just
Um,
like
It was small,
it,
yeah.
it felt like I guess maybe I was good at
I went
that
through
sort of
it in
thing.
one evening, but it's
I got
just
it too
like
quick. I got through it too quickly. I was just like, damn, I'm already done with this. This is
I
This
think
is
it
not-
could have been structured a little better. I think I probably took around 3 hours finding everybody on it, to be honest. But I know I'm slow at stuff, but
I'd like an opinion from you guys. That's why I'm probably most excited about this roundtable. Is because I didn't beat it initially, the game, and now I beat it now. like the end of chapter 12, it says, like, all the machinery is broken. It's like, how are we alive? And then you got chapter 13 is talking about this rift and whatnot. I'm confused. What does the end of the story actually mean?
So I'm glad you brought this up
Think
because
about this planet.
I talked to HK about this because HK also wasn't sure because in the original game, the last line in the entire game for like the cutscenes is "it's something about this planet," and HK didn't catch that because it directly continues on to the part where they're talking about the next thing in this version.
Because you get the new scene right away that explains a couple more things. So
I'm still confused though.
The idea is that the sense of consciousness goes beyond just what is stored in the data.
Basically, like where Al was stuck in the rift, and he said that he could feel the souls of everybody. Basically, it's like the sort of wave existence where all of the souls reside, and basically they're connected to their souls even though their souls are no longer the machines, but they've been traveling inside that rift.
It's trying to trying to insinuate is a form of consciousness beyond what is digitally computed. Because
the old games did that a lot.
Self is stored here,
Yeah, the old Xenoblades did that concept a lot. Not Xenoblades, like Xenogears and Xenosaga, like danced around that a lot. Where like you had the higher domain and the lower domain and all that stuff, and they're kind of dancing around that a little bit, and like it's a bit of a wink, but it's just at the same time, like it's just them reusing a concept that they've used before. But
never played those ones.
But Xenoblade does touch it a bit too. Like like in Xenoblade 3, like how like the last thing that you fight is like basically something similar, where it's like an accumulated like thing where like all of the fears of all of the souls are accumulated there, and you have to beat it in order to like to bring back the peace or whatever. Well, it's something similar. It's like it's just that now it's like all the souls of the people, but at the same time, in Xenoblade 3 was something similar with like the souls that feared like change were all accumulating together, kind of thing. So
it was more about stagnation.
But it's still like similar concept. It's just in this particular one, it's more about there's a higher plane out there in a different dimension where like the souls of everybody are circulating through. Yeah. And that's where we're connected to. Like, and that's why we're not dead.
It basically puts more weight on like the sense of self versus just a body functioning to make a thing happen, and you just thinking it's like an illusion.
So basically, your body is a vessel, and like your soul is residing within the higher plane.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And it's like, it goes further than what technology is actually capable of.
Exactly. So that's why they're not fully able to grasp it. Yeah, they're not fully able to grasp it, but it's basically the concept is that our souls are residing within that, rift or whatever.
Like it's trying to make like the view like a more positive sci-fi view of there is a consciousness like there's a sense of self beyond.
There's basically a thing beyond everything
in the body, constrained to the body.
Yeah, and like that rift, they did mention that it was basically connected to everything. So basically, all universes kind of come and converge there. So it's like that's why you can kind of see that all of the souls are residing there and can resonate with people. So
I really wish it was just a missing hard drive.
Missing hard drive.
Honestly, I'm sorry,
honestly,
but I don't. I'm really
love
into
this part.
What it is.
I really love this part, but also I love that, like, they did do little winks to Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade 1, 2, 3, and whatever, but, like, at the same time, like, I do enjoy the fact that they brought back this concept while still being vague about it, where it leaves room for it to be something new. It's a similar concept, but it's something a bit new. But at the same time, people who may not have played, like, especially Xenogears and Xenosaga, it might be a bit harder to grasp into what they were trying to do, because like they don't really explain it, but at the same time they don't really need to, because the characters themselves don't really understand it.
Maybe I'm like overly optimistic about this, but I really like the idea in sci-fi of like the sense of self having more purpose to it than just a function that is born of like the machine that it is attached to. And that's why I really vibe with this. But
yeah, I think it was interesting too.
I can understand wanting to keep it simpler.
But I was also losing my mind about this whole thing being basically Udo.
Yeah,
Personally,
absolutely.
I personally have a lot of mixed feelings about it, because it felt like it just gave a very, very convenient excuse and just explanation for almost every single mystery within Mira.
I am with you there, but I think that is a problem for this newer version and not the original, personally.
It did take some mystique away from Mira
just like
itself.
it kind of sucks that almost every
like
single question. Yeah, like almost every single question you had with Xenoblade X can now be answered by, oh well, the conduit did it, and oh yeah, Mira just so happens to be close to the rift, so now it's able to just do this stuff.
Can we talk about the fact that someone was crazy enough to make the conduit or / the Zohar into a mech?
Yeah, the Monado is
Like,
now a mech.
But then, like, the fact that it's a mecha, and I'm just like, wow. But like, technically, this mecha, like. The other thing that I found interesting is that is also a very huge Xenosaga wink, is the fact that, considering this mecha is technically quote-unquote the Zohar, and the Gnosis in Xenosaga were drowned by the Zohar, and in this particular thing, the ghosts are basically the Gnosis, and they're drowned by this thing.
They're super Gnosis coded, yeah.
Yeah, turning people to
they're not
salt.
just Gnosis coded. I believe we had checked before, and in Japanese they're actually called Gnosis. So
Oh,
Are they? Oh.
yeah, I think we have checked before in the previous video.
Yeah.
It's just that I think it got censored in English.
I'm like I feel like I'm way more with Justin on a lot of this stuff though too, in like agreement of just like I feel like there is a commitment issue to the bit a little bit in some ways, but other than that, I still love the ideas.
They lack the time to polish it a bit more, but I do like that they still stayed on track and stuff still works fairly well together. Like, where I would have a more, like, issue is if the plot had gone fully spaghetti, just...
Yeah,
like,
at least
like
that.
spaghetti against a wall. At least it didn't go there. It was still very much, like, on track with what it was trying to do, so I can respect it for that, because it's easier to follow.
I'm glad it's on track. I think my biggest complaint with the extra add-ons is just it felt a little safe. Especially which I guess in most games it wouldn't be, but seeing as I've played at 2 or 3 of these games that have a very similar ending to what they just did there, I was like, yeah, I guess if you want to wrap it up with a bow, cool, yeah. But I kind of prefer the messier.
Let's talk about that ending. I do like, again, the representation a bit of Xenosaga that were like, whenever they were like moving, they were escaping the extra new map, whatever, with the ship by warping. Going through that warp, like, Owl sees a little girl, and I believe she had orange hair and a white dress, and I was like, I Nephilim.
She did. Yeah.
It felt very much like Nephilim was trying to guide them, though I imagine it was probably someone that he knew, but like, the look of it made me think a lot of Nephilim because of the colors.
Yeah.
And then whenever they get out of that warp, like a bit like in Xenosaga, where whenever they get out of their warp there at the end, I'm gonna try and say slightly vague. They just basically like everything is dark, no power, whatever. Like all functions are more basic, and like. The plan matched like so closely to like what Xenosaga had done with that, and I was like, oh, hello. I was kind of a bit excited about that, but also the fact that they're like, we found our new world, and the world they found is basically the same world that, Xenosaga ends with, but also Xenogears start with. But at the same time, like, the other Xenoblade kind of had this ring thing also, so I was like, so did they basically go back in time and find the original Earth before it was, there? Are they gonna... Part of my brain is like, are they gonna continue their ideas of, like, the after Xenosaga that they could not continue, where they had to try and find her to, like, stop the universe from going to shit?
Yeah.
I'm interested about where they might go with that, because the other thing is that the fact that, they dropped this here where, like, it felt very much like the end of Xenosaga, where, they kind of found the quote-unquote Earth, but at the same time, like, the fact that, like, also in Xenoblade 3 DLC, there was literally, like, Dmitry Yuriev name dropped, and I'm just like, my brain is, like, looking at the two and just being like, okay, Monolith, what the fuck are you cooking right now? Because I'm just like, are you trying to bring back some of your Xenosaga elements that you could not continue? Because if it is, I'm on board.
Yeah, I get that too. Like, there's one thing
I'm
that's
okay
always
with
been a
them.
thing about this
I'm okay with
series.
them, like, just, doing something new as well with it, but, like, at the same time, like, just, if they can continue that concept, I think it'd be interesting to see where they go with it, especially if they were to do a X2, whatever. And also the fact that Elba is totally, like, very Cosmos coded with the extra the extra look, like, she whatever, because I never got there, like, in the base game, so, like, at the end of 12, whenever she reveals herself, I was like, man, that was such a Cosmos entry.
Oh yeah, I mean the
100%.
coffin-shaped thing. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It was very much Cosmos coded, but yeah, it's just everything about it has been very Xenosaga coded, and, like, the whole chapter 13 was extremely Xenosaga coded. So I was just like, my brain was going places every time they were dropping things, and the fact also at some point Alma even dropped, like, a religious line that I was trying to remember. I was like, I feel like that
She
was
directly
said
quotes the
before.
Bible.
I know, but I feel like this is something that may have shown before in Xenosaga or Xenogears, but I was like,
Something
my
like
brain was,
that.
like, a bit too far to remember. But it was still interesting that she dropped that randomly. I was like, hold up.
Oh, and that reminds me of Tatsu, of all people, saying, "So God is real."
That was real too. I'm glad somebody instantly made a gif of that. That was funny.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. Whoever
So
did
another
that.
thing that was kind of like unfortunate was like with chapter 13 is just the characters that they chose to have involved in the plot and the characters they didn't. Like, it's so disappointing that L wasn't involved, because it seemed like
He should have had better
It's a bit
stakes than he did, because he just made a comment every now and then. That was it.
It's
Yeah.
his planet.
He was-
and
he was there
still
at
making
least,
jokes.
but he was there at
Okay,
least. Like, some
so-
other characters were not there at all.
Speaking of jokes, something that kind of like really irked me with this was how it felt like they were trying so hard to make the main cast interact with each other, and you had like these really
Gosh.
awkward to me moments where you had like those sitcom moments where everyone's just laughing,
Everyone's
No, those
laughing.
weren't just
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
the delivery on that was so weird.
No,
Like I
agree.
forgot I remember there was one where Irina said something and then everybody just starts laughing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this game? Like,
Yeah, I was like,
Who
what
wrote this shit?
just happened? Like, everything else was, like, mostly fine, but when they did that weird canned laughter bit every now and then, I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on? Like, are we over... Who directed this part? Because, like, it feels like we're trying to, like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit going on, but also, haha, like, whatever, you know. We're just chilling.
I did not like those moments like at all.
They felt
Yeah.
like... I felt like, yeah, nervous laughter, more like...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then every time what's
mild
popping
concern.
kept
Oh, God.
popping up, haha. I just lost it every
It was
like by the time that the game like force you to
Thing.
say it.
It forces you to
At the very
say
end.
it.
Terrible.
Like,
God.
please stop.
Not gonna lie, I did actually kind of like that part. I thought that was pretty funny.
I-
When they-
I-
they-
it was-
I thought it was funny.
cute first.
It was
when
funny
they
and
had
I
it, when they had it in the dialogue. It definitely overstayed its welcome in certain cutscenes, but I did like them having it as a text box at the end. I thought that was kind of good.
Forgive me, but this is like, forgive me for those who don't understand or hate me bringing up this reference, but that "what's poppin'" thing was so Millhouse is not a meme coded. Does
Oh my
anybody remember
God.
that? Like,
Yeah.
that was so Millhouse is not a meme coded to me. I'm like, what the? You can't force this shit like this. Come on.
Stop trying to make
Yeah.
fetch happen.
Yeah.
Also, since we got to the part where like you have the house popping whatever with the text box at the end, I did love how like Lao Soul came back to help them through because everything's connected, so you can just come in and say hi, a little final eye.
Yeah, get your Kingdom Hearts
But-
ass in here.
But
Hey,
yeah,
what's
he
poppin'?
wasn't there. He wasn't there, and he helped out. And like, I did like that. Al was just like, okay, I'm gonna take a break, but I'm gonna let you have your fun in the mech, and I'm just gonna be in there so that the mech kind of function. Because if I'm not there, it's not gonna work. So yeah, basically, it was pretty cool to be able to do that. But also, I really enjoyed the back and forth between Lao and Al in there.
I'm willing to sustain like some level, some degree of like, okay, I'll believe this because it's more fun to believe than it is to just be an ass about anyway. And so like that Lao scene was fine with me. And like, it's a very like end of Interstellar moment where it's like, yeah, this isn't how it would happen, but I like the hopeful side. That's pretty nice.
I mean, like, it's still kind of travel in the outer space and stuff, so I imagine, like, it's probably possible, and especially with, like, the mech being, like, the fucking conduit and
believe
stuff.
me,
like,
it's
it's like
far more
it's probably,
believable
like,
than the end of Interstellar.
giving enough of a... It's probably giving enough of a very specific wavelength that is easy to find when you're a soul or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, should we read Bot's thoughts on
Yeah.
Chapter 13?
Oh,
Does someone want to go for that?
Well, we didn't
Yeah,
talk about the Affinity mission yet, so...
Yeah. Which I was thinking
Well,
about.
the Affinity mission is pizza.
We'll
There
do
you go.
that. We'll do that after. I'll read Bot's notes on chapter 13,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about that
Oh,
afterwards.
I
No.
just want to do a correction real quick. The ghosts are just called ghosts in Japanese.
They're just called ghosts
Oh.
because I'm
It-
pretty sure, like,
it
when
goes
we
so-
when we have checked early footage before, like, I think it was Nausis, but
I actually never looked at
maybe
up,
they changed
so
it back.
I don't know.
Yeah, it says ghosto.
Ghost.
Okay. So, Bot's notes, okay, sorry. I liked a lot of the world building elements they added with how the universe works. I was fine with the shout out of the Xenoblades, but I hope that's all it is. I really don't want the next Xeno game to shove all of them together. Xenoblade 3 showed how bad they are at mashing the games together. I never got a good feel for Al, honestly. I didn't hate him, but I never felt like I understood him. That said, I think his being a bit offbeat worked well for him as a parallel to Cross. I agree with that.
I would
In
agree.
general, I liked all the returning VAs, but I did feel that Elma's voice was very weak, which is understandable since her third home is being destroyed, but they didn't seem to approach that part of it very well.
Can I add something to this? I know for sure that in the last few years, Elma's VA has had COVID at least once. And I think that might have affected her performance in some ways. Like, I'm not for sure, this is speculation, but I know she was supposed to head to my area at one point and had to miss because she caught COVID. And I'm kind of like, yeah, her voice sounds noticeably weaker in most scenes she's in, but I'm wondering if like some of that did not affect her.
it might be a
over time.
direction issue as well, where like
Could,
maybe
but she knows the character. I got an
she
autograph
she
signed
knows
by
it,
her,
but
and
like I
she-
mean the new scenes some of the new scenes had like, we said it, like some things were a bit more like troll out there, so like maybe the direction
True.
wasn't too sure like how powerful and not powerful to do some scenes.
I was impressed with everyone's voice acting compared to fucking Vandom's. Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, that was horrid.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad.
But anyways, going on. Going off of that, L was pure comic relief and didn't give a single damn about his planet being blown up. What?
Yeah.
Yup.
They had a Nupon give a heartfelt explanation about why she was staying behind on Mira, and it was perfectly done and sad, but understandable. Then they just undo it? I hated that. The story progression felt very fast, added on with little build up, though I get that's really all they could do.
Yeah.
I'm on board. I agree with pretty much all that.
I agree. Yeah.
I think my
Same.
thing is that I got to really love Mira, like, a lot.
Yeah.
And
Same.
they're taking it away? Why?
I was
For
hoping
no
that
reason.
I was hoping that if we got a sequel, it would be focused on the other side of Mira or something. And it's like,
And this is what I meant earlier when I said, like, it was cool that Nile provided more context for the clue, only for it to not even matter because they just fucking Mira gets nuked. Or I did hear somewhere that apparently in the Japanese version, somebody confirmed this for me because I honestly didn't bother to confirm this, but I did hear somebody mention that apparently the Japanese version was a bit more. Neil now. I've been saying now. Apparently the Japanese version.
I started thinking of the Xenoblade 2 character. Sorry.
Apparently the Japanese version was a bit more vague and open-ended in terms of what happened to Mira, whereas in the English version, it seems like they really try to imply that it was destroyed. So maybe it's not. I don't know, but yeah,
it's possible. What happened? Like, I feel like it could be destroyed. Like, it could be just vanished or teleported to another dimension. Like, remember how or maybe it's just sealed away. Remember how, like, in Xenosaga there was like the original Miltia that was like, locked away because of a phenomenon with the Zohar. So I feel like it could be something similar to that possibly, like, that whole universe will be locked out, but maybe it might reopen up eventually. If they do something with it again. I think it's a possibility anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, be interesting to see what the Microsoft does from here, but
yeah, honestly, I'm very excited about, like, their possibilities of what direction they could take this on, because like I said, it very much feels like they want to continue a bit of that Xenosaga bit that they did not manage to finish before, like past 3. So I'm just kind of excited to see what they might do.
I'm excited to see what they might do. My hopes is that a lot of the problems that I have with this is more on the time constraints of and trying to finish out which was basically like, wow, as much as I love the original game, they kind of set up half of a game, like as far half of a completed story, and they tried to finish the other half in a few paragraphs.
I will say about this game is, I've mentioned before on the podcast that my favorite Xeno game is 2. X has replaced it. It's just more fun.
Cool.
It's just more fun. Not because of story or anything. It's just more fun.
Story aside, it's just a fun ass game when you get it.
Well,
that's the problem.
Fun game to play.
The gameplay of Xenoblade X is definitely one of the strongest. I will say that Xenoblade 3 was also pretty solid. Like, I loved how you could, like, sidestep and all that stuff. But Xenoblade X has a pretty solid, like, gameplay, especially now with, like, all the added features. Like, it makes the whole combat so much smoother and like snappy. It just,
thank you.
It's satisfying. You're just going through your art, going like, yeah, I'm gonna do this combo and this combo and this combo. It's fun.
Thank you for reminding me, because there's a few gameplay things from Xenoblade X to Xenoblade 3 that I want, like, injected. If they ever make another, like, Xenoblade X, like vein kind of game, like,
also, can we have sprint in all of the future Xenoblade, please?
Okay.
Like, it's just,
yeah,
please.
okay. So I was getting to that actually. So here's a few things that worked in Xenoblade 3/X that would work in the next game really well. Bring back the sprint, bring back the dodge from 3. Make the, so there are augments based around being, like, evasion when you're in sprint versus standing still. More stuff like that. On the point of augments, the way that 3 did it was perfect because one built off of another, and it was in a way where it was like if you were building towards the next level augment, you were collecting different parts than you were the last time for the last level augment. It was a better progression of the augments, whereas Xenoblade X tends to encourage that you just skip ahead more so. Like, there's definitely some changes, but past certain thresholds, it's like, no, you just gather this part and make the level 20. There's no point in making the levels before that. So I think that
sorry.
it handled it better there. Anyway,
Can I interrupt you, Nick? I'm really sorry.
I'm actually done.
B says she has to tap soon. B, do you have final thoughts?
I think my final thought would just be I despite all the flaws that I've saw, and I genuinely really enjoyed the game. Like, I couldn't put it down. It was fun.
Yeah, the new version is definitely more like smooth and very hard to put down.
It was my first time that I got to experience online. It was just a fun game. Like, at that time, I was having a lot of stress at work, and I just couldn't wait to get home and play Xenoblade. Like, it was just fun. It was, as a video game should be, it is fun.
Yep.
And it's fun playing together.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
We should do it again sometimes.
We should.
Thank you, Kat. I'm just tired.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
All
sorry.
good,
I
all
didn't
good.
see that.
Honestly, I think we could look into possibly closing soon because it's almost like
Yeah.
11:30.
I'm gonna tap out though. I do need a shower in the worst way.
Sounds
but
good.
Thank you.
Have a good night,
everyone.
Bee.
Good night, Bee. Okay, yeah, we probably should wrap up soon.
I knew this was going to be a lot. But,
Yeah. Okay, who else wants to say their final thoughts on Xenoblade X Definitive Edition?
Overall, I'm glad that I finally finished this game.
Mhm.
It only took me 10 years. It's funny too because even Xenoblade 1, I had all of the other versions, but I would always get stuck because quest hell and too many quests and not enough markers to keep my attention span locked in. So it's funny how these definitive edition makes so sometimes I can just lock in a lot easier. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this game, and as I mentioned, I think before in some of our chats, I think this has made this game go up in rank right under Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade 2 is still my favorite for a lot of things, but Xenoblade X is now second behind that in the Xenoblade series. So, yeah.
Okay.
Really enjoy it.
Okay.
I guess I can go next.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really had a hard time the first time I was playing this, but I still loved it a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This second time, I learned to love Mira even more before losing it. So I have thoughts. My brain. It's late, and my brain is
Mush.
mush.
Okay.
Mush.
But
Brain is going away. Goodbye.
if I have anything else, I'll put it in the chat. But it's been awesome to play with everybody at the same time. I loved looking up at my notifications. Someone is playing Xenoblade X. Someone is playing Xenoblade X. It's oh my god, it's wonderful. So it just
when it came out, I remember nearly everybody in my contacts were playing Xenoblade X. It was just Xenoblade everywhere.
I always enjoyed in this game looking up in the corner and seeing the achievements of other players, but now I enjoy also seeing auto-saving. Very nice.
Yeah.
It's also fun to be able to more easily join squads of friends and stuff and just see, oh, my friend progressed in there. Oh, that's cool. Just...
Okay, I have to hop off, but have a nice
Sounds
night.
Have a good night.
Thanks for joining
Night,
us.
Kat.
Thank you, Kat.
Good night, Kat.
Good night.
Bye. Alright, how about you, Nick?
I'm sorry. I know I've been interjecting so much with just my thoughts this whole time, and I'm just I hope that I didn't overstep on that, but overall, I still
Nah.
very much enjoy this game. Gameplay wise, this game is always going to hit with me. Whenever I figured it out, it was a big thing. This time just made it better because I knew going in. This gave me the ability to experiment with it more without spending my entire lifetime on it, which is kind of nice. And I still play it and can be happy with, like, I've still got plenty of things to do without the huge grind. I super like that. On a gameplay level, this game is just very great to me. I always love the vibe, always love the world. I really like where the themes of the story split like brought up in the first place. I don't think overall that this addition to it added a lot that's super. I didn't hate it, and I didn't even dislike it. I just don't think it added a lot that did a whole lot for me in some ways. I think it added a bit that did. Probably in similar ways to like what HK went through, where it's like, oh yeah, it was really cool to see some of the more subtle references to stuff like Xenosaga especially, but I'm also like, well, technically the base game already did plenty of the heavy lifting on that for me as far as that goes, and I played this before I played Xenosaga,
yeah.
so that didn't even hit with me. That was probably one of the things that made me like Xenosaga more going in, was like, oh, the vibes are like immaculate and they're here in Xenosaga as well.
Yeah, the vibes of the whole Xenoblade X was very Xenosaga, but just the chapter 13 just amplified a lot of it.
It did, and those parts I do like about it. What I didn't like was the obvious, like, overbearing references, and I feel like I was just more relieved than anything that they didn't go further with any of those, because I feel
I think it went just right, just the right amount.
I feel like it was
players will lose their shit,
amount.
And new players will be like, oh, that's interesting, just...
It's not to say that I don't think any of this stuff's bad. I just think it's like getting a little overly self-indulgent in some ways. It's like, I don't want this to become like a full-on multiverse situation.
I think we're already there, but like
in the way
at the same time, like it does give them like, things can still be very much their own episode. It's just there's always going to be some type of connections because universe all connected, blah, blah, blah.
It's not there on the same level as a lot of things that get really self-indulgent with it, is what I mean to say. I like that there's slight hints towards things. I feel like I still kind of rolled my eyes at the bits that were included here, but I didn't like... seeing as I expected
I didn't.
much
I
worse,
was
like,
very excited about it.
Okay, well, but like I'm saying, like the Xenosaga ones I don't mind as much. The Xenoblade ones were the ones I was like, whatever, it's fine.
See, for me, I think the problem I have with it is it's not like bad by itself. It's more like, I hope this doesn't become a recurring trend in later games. Like if in Xenoblade 4 we get another scene where we see Shulk or hear Shulk, I'm probably going to lose my mind.
That's kind of more where I'm at, but at the same time, they've already done that like the last 3 games.
And then that's what but that's just it. This is going to be a recurring thing now. So now every game, by the end of the game, you're going to see something where some character is going to pop up for some reason or whatever.
Basically, I will put it this way. It was subtle enough for me this time, but my hopes on them straying away from it are diminishing slightly.
Yeah.
Is what I will put it like. I am fine with it here. I don't want it to get to where it's like overbearing or like more of that. We don't need that. Like, I know media literacy is somewhat dead, but come on. Like, we can do without. It's more fun whenever we have to make the connections ourselves rather than you spitting them out at us,
Yeah. Alright, shall we move to the next person?
Yeah, sorry, I know I was like, I go overkill with these things.
You're okay, I'm just trying to keep track of time so that we don't go too much further.
Yeah, go on, Dustin.
So, yeah, as I said before, I quite enjoyed Xenoblade X Definitive Edition. I couldn't put the game down, but it was like the fastest 140 hours ever in a game.
Wow.
So it's just, time went by so fast while playing this. I could pick this game up and then next thing I know, it's like 2 a.m. It's like
Oh
not
yeah, it's so
So-
dangerous.
It's crazy. But yeah, I really enjoyed the game, despite my opinions about Chapter 13, and I got many of them. I did still overall like the game. I think I liked it even more than I did the first time. And it's definitely up there now as one of my favorites as well. Like, it's up there with the first one, for sure. Like, these two games are just... They just hit with me. And I think Xenoblade X hits with me even more nowadays than it did even back then. So... it's a good game.
I mean, like I said, some of his strongest points, and this was always the case, not even the main game, is just the little vignettes it tackles. Like, that it has the ability to tackle them in as graceful a way as it does, and just, like, give you so many different scenarios of, like, hey, what's working out like that slice of lifeness, it works out in its favor because it is, like, it's like, what if slice of life, but on a more, like, full-on macro socio-political level in a way that I think is, like, fascinating to me. And I really think that works for it. On another note, and I'm sorry, I know I'm talking again about this stuff, but I just want to add, because, like, it's like, I'm just... I wanted to mention something that I had totally forgotten about till now, but I wanted to mention it because Bot had brought it up before, and I wanted to give Bot this piece. Is like, did no one finish the Yelv storyline? You don't understand my feelings about Yelv because you never finished it. And I was like, upon replaying this part again, I was like, oh yeah, I did finish the Yelv storyline. And I do remember that, but it is such a tease that I kind of forgot that it went as hard as it did.
That's another thing that's unfortunate, because now we still don't know. We still
exactly.
Don't know.
They still never followed up on it, and it's like, it's. I mean, I think that's a fun mystery, but also I don't feel like it's the kind of fun mystery that I'm like, well, I guess we'll never know from here, you know.
It wasn't fun enough for them to answer it.
But I also feel like I get, but I'm also in a place where I want to say to Bot for when he listens to this. Yeah, I understand your. I like, as someone who already liked Yelv as a character anyway.
Yelv is great.
I absolutely understand your brain rot over Yelv at this point on that, because but it is sad. I forgive me for kind of forgetting that that's what happened at the end. I was like,
we didn't really brush. The thing is, we didn't really brush about the story of, like, the regular 1 to 12 chapter. We went more over gameplay and then 13. So
we did, but there's, like, a few like late game affinity things that I wanted to just kind of address a little bit here.
Yeah,
we can always do that some other time.
Yeah, you can be other episodes too.
Yeah, and like I said, the affinity, well, not even affinity, the side quests and the affinity missions are the actual meat of this game. If you have any, like, all I ask you to do, if you play this game, if somebody who's listening to this has not played it, is, it's not always
we tell people to leave at 13. I don't think someone haven't played will go this far.
Well, what I mean is, like, what I mean is, if there are people that critical path games. They just want to play the main story. If you have no trust in this, I know the presentation isn't always great on it. It is not always going to hit you with, like, an emotional, like, cinematic cutscene, but read the dialogue. It's actually pretty fucking well written. In, like, a lot of these side quests especially is where it really shines, I think. So that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Okay, so...
Alright, Jin, your turn.
Yeah, me. Okay. But yeah, this is definitely the preferred definitive way to play this game. I mean, I loved Xenoblade X the first time, but of course I always had a laundry list of things. I wish they would do this, I wish they would do that. And Monolith Soft, like, fixed 99% of all the issues that I had, or 90%.
I will say they even fixed more than a lot of the issues I would, I had on my list. I was like, they fixed things I would not have thought about.
Right,
being fixed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But so yeah, I enjoyed this playthrough. Some of the new content, I enjoyed to an extent, but I had mixed feelings about it as well. And yeah, but of course I still, like, love the characters, even though sometimes I feel like there's so many characters that, of course, they don't get all the spotlight that they deserve. But
Yeah.
That happens a lot in Xeno games, other Xeno games too. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I'm hopeful to see what's next. I hope it has giant robots that are playable.
I hope it has giant robots too. I'm sad with the robots are not there.
Yeah.
Get me back in the robot.
Yeah, Monolith Soft is going to announce a Megas XLR video game next.
Oh my god.
We dig giant robots.
I would actually love that. But anyway, all right. So yeah, we all love Xenoblade X Definitive Edition. Thank you everyone for discussing this, and for anybody that's still listening, thank you very much. I think we'll call it there. So everybody, have a good night.
Have a good night.
How's it poppin'?
Save the game?
How's it poppin'?
Okay. Whew, we did it.
Sweet.
Yippee!
How's it poppin'?
Okay.
Yep, hit it.
I hit it.
Okay, so everybody's ready. Okay. All right, let me go over to the dock.
You know what else I hit?
Uh-huh.
Like and subscribe to this podcast. You thought I was gonna.
Anyway.
You thought I was gonna say something gross, didn't you? No, I'm kidding.
No. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to another episode.
Sorry.
See, Nick is an ass.
He did.
All right.
It was the Cowboy Bebop thing. I'm sorry, I couldn't. Help myself.
know. Okay. Well, then I'll.
Let's
3, 2,
actually
1.
jam like now. Go ahead.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, how's it poppin'?